Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Irina. I am a Vedic astrologer and I apply ancient, more than 3,000 years old knowledge to modern times. I love Vedic astrology. I love sidereal zodiac, but I also find it very useful to use tropical system, and I implement also Western astrology tools. I do not mix these two systems, but I see them both working very well. This video will be about all rising signs for lunar eclipse. We also watch any eclipses from moon and from Dasha Lagna. This is more Vedic astrology interpretation. I want to remind you that my channel is initially, I wanted to dedicate it to psychological evaluation of criminal people. Then I focused on mundane astrology, and I also work very closely with personal charts. I have a master's in psychology, so I love how these two systems complement each other. Speaking of personal consultations, it can be a yearly overlook. It can be specifically focus on one specific theme in your life, like career, what's your hobby, where's your talents, real estate, kids, relationships. Now, when we talk about all rising signs and moon, the same lunar eclipse or the same solar eclipse can be completely different for the same rising signs or for the same moon signs. Why? Because first and foremost, we have static potentials of the chart. So we always check those. Then we have planetary periods. We also check Varshabhala or solar return chart. And then only we check transits. So therefore, the potentials for activation different houses is very broad, and we can narrow it down with the help of other tools. Okay, and let's start with Aries rising. And by the way, there is a new edition 2027 of Eclipse book. That's a little bit of an announcement. All right, Aries rising or moon or Dasha Lagna. So it is happening in your 11th house, and it's all about income, professional gains, friends, audiences, organizations. It can be also about your elder siblings. It is about long-term goals. It's about fulfillment of ambitions. It can also about some very big chunk of money bonuses. Now here, a moon getting eclipsed, and for Aries rising, it's ruling the fourth house of home, family, property, mother, relationship with mother, emotional security, education, private life. So therefore, all these themes can be connected with the 11th house eclipse. So professional opportunities may require changes at home. Or, for example, a friendship may no longer feel emotionally safe or not fulfill your inner requirements anymore. So a property or family matter may affect income. So some areas can achieve an important goal and then discover that the results does not provide the satisfaction they expected. Moon with a Fomalhaut star, it's one of the main 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is all about ideals, vision, imagination. It's about moral purpose, moral compass. And here it can describe an idealized friendship, an idealized community, or let's say like what we are as humanity should be in an ideal way. And because moon rules the 4th house, Aries ascendants can question whether their professional and social desires or ambitions support their emotional well-being. So we can see how back and forth the 4th and 11th house can interact with each other. On the opposition to moon, we have sun, heavily combusted Mercury, but not in Kazini, in Ketu, in the 5th house. So fifth house is all about children, creativity, education, intelligence, romance, investments, speculation, and personal recognition. Sun here is strong in its own sign. It is finally hammed by benefics. So it can support leadership, creativity, teaching, and the ability to make an important decision. But Sun is participating in eclipse. So, and Ketu here can create detachment from, let's say, if it was some romance going, it can create some sort of detachment, or detachment from recognition, or from some creative goal. So something that felt exciting may temporarily lose its meaning, but only to sort of step back and to understand if it's really still something that you really want in your life. So fifth house is also about child, investments, creative project, again, romantic relationships. So all here should be very carefully evaluated. Now T-square with Uranus activating here, therefore 5th, 11th, and so Scorpio will be, Uranus will be in the 2nd house now, transiting. So if there's any natal placements around 10 or 11 degree in sidereal Scorpio in 8th house, or let's say within like 3-4 degrees, this T-square can become a fixed grand cross temporarily with eclipse and with Uranus. So Scorpio in 8th house, it's can bring the questions or topics of debt, taxes, inheritance, insurance, shared finances, some hidden information, secret, and it can bring into the eclipse configuration. So we have a 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses, and if we combine the themes of them, there can be like a positive, for example, manifestation can include a gain followed by unexpected expense. Or it can be some unexpected expense for the child, or for education, or for the child's education. The friend can become involved in financial agreement. There can be some changes in partner's income. So stuff like this. Mars and Lagna ruler as a transiting Gemini now in the 3rd house. And now it's important to mention why Mars is important now, because it's an exchange with Rahu through nakshatras, Mars in Ardra and Rahu in Dhanishta. So this creates a very strong amplification of both forces in Aries rising, Aries moon, and Aries who have a Dasha Lagna, for example. So exchange links the 3rd and 11th houses. So what we can get here, we can get a growth through writing, through media, through sales, technology. 3rd house is blogging also. It's a short style of writings. A message can receive very wide attention. If there's other supportive promises in the chart for that, now it can be a great time to, if you're a blogger, for example, you can reach a new audience, or you can reach a new professional network. There can be a great advance done in research that is about revealing hidden information. So they are very supportive to each other. But they can also produce some, obsessive thinking, arguments, can be conflict online, or it can be some impulsive statements. So all information should be verified, and, always check what comes out of your mouth during these days, especially for Aries. Mars is very impulsive. Mars is out of bounds now. So be careful with what you say. It can have a greater impact on people around you than you might think. And now Mars and Saturn are in opposition to each other. No, Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces. Yes. 3. Wait. They're in square to each other. Yes, sorry. And they're already coming into square, and they will be in exact square on September 1st. So here, it's not an easy, soft transit, but here we have the Saturn that is rule your career house and your network house, and it's transiting through the 12th house. So 12th house is all about, losses or something behind the scenes. So Saturn here can do some very behind the scenes professional restructuring. Or if you work with a foreign lands, there can be some increased communication or work heavy load with the foreign institutions. It can also, if the other parts of the chart can support it, for example, if Saturn has low Ashtaka or Bindu in this house, there can be a sign of an end of an old position. Or overall, if it's like neutral period, it can be just a period of reduced visibility. Mars being out of bounds, it wants immediate action, and Saturn wants patience. It wants planning, and the square between them can create frustration when professional results are delayed, for example. Mars is also aspecting with the 8th aspect Pluto that is transiting your 10th house, again career, and Pluto is out of bounds until the end of the year. So it can be an increased hidden power struggles at work, can be some changes on institutional level, can be some confidential professional decisions being done. Speaking of Venus, Venus is debilitated now in the 6th house, soon as getting into the retrograde loop, and I will make another podcast about it, what it means and what it means for every rising or moon signs. For Aries, Venus rules the areas of money, savings, family resources. It's also about marriages, partnerships, business partnerships, contracts. And so it can be interconnected. Going through the house of struggle, of conflict, and with Venus being debilitated and heavily afflicted by Mars and Saturn, it's under very heavy pressure. So it can be some, like the manifestations of this can be financial disagreement with a spouse or business partner, can be delayed payments, increased work responsibilities, some relationship tension, and it's causing feel more stress in life overall. Some increased expenses connected with health, employment, or debt. Be aware of conflict energy in the work environment, so with colleague or client. If there's any contract needs to be signed, require like a double, triple check everything. Jupiter is exalted, but it's also a tricky situation. It's hampered by malefics. It's in a 6-8 relationship with Sakata Yoga, creating Sakata Yoga with Moon. It is under Pluto's obstruction, if we speak about Pluto. But it has an underlying strength in Navamsha. So here we have a very mixed configuration. So, and Jupiter can bring at the same time a good and bad. Possible manifestations can be because it's going through the 4th house and it's 4-10 axis. There can be fluctuations involving home, income, professional goals, some travel, education, and expenses. So possible manifestations can be again requiring relocation or travel. It can be some property opportunity, but with some strings attached or unexpected costs, something that is hidden in the contract, for example, that will be only revealed later. So watch out for that. Can be a help from teacher or advisor, but only after a complicated situation. It can be increased income, but at the same time, you can have a higher expenses, unexpected. So like everything has like a double side. Now, speaking about different nakshatra risings for Aries, let's start with Ashvini. Ashvini rising is ruled by Ketu, so therefore it is directly connected with eclipse. So it's very personal, and for example, all the topics of the fifth house can undergo a turning point. There can be very, very strict line between before lunar eclipse and after in all the topics of the fifth house: children, creative projects, some even investments, stock in the stock market. Bharani nakshatra ruled by Venus. Venus now is heavily afflicted, debilitated. So for you, this period can be quite heavy. It can feel like very too many responsibilities at the same time, and you have very little support, and you feel like, hamster running in a wheel. Of course, partial debilitation here, cancellation here through Jupiter offers some protection, but still, Venus here is weak. Now, Kritika rising for Aries, and it's ruled by Sun. Again, it is Sun is a part of the eclipse. So, Kritika rising Aries will be directly affected by the eclipse. Here, it's all depends on Ashtaka Varga of the fifth house of the Leo sign, and the natal condition of the Sun. All this very important to say, like how the eclipse, in which plus or minus this eclipse can affect you. So what Aries rising should check? Again, the most sensitive degrees are around 10, 11 of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Check those natal signs, natal placements in those signs. Ashtaka Varga should be checked for 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. The 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 12th houses require attention because Mars, Venus, Saturn, and Pluto. Now, if you are in a period that is connected with Mars, planetary period, with Mars, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn, or it all can increase the eclipse importance, and basically it's all of the planets I just mentioned. So overall, I would say Aries is one of the rising signs that can get a very heavily, but also on the positive side, it can be heavily affected by the eclipse. It all depends. Next, I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now, I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with, I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Taurus rising. Taurus rising for you, the lunar eclipse of August 28th in 4 days, happening in the 10th house of career, reputation, your public standing, your status, your professional authority, life direction. It can be also any event connected happening with your boss, with someone under whom you're working. So Rahu right now soon will be leaving your 10th house, and like during its transit, it supposedly was increasing your ambition, your desire to be more visible on the workplace, or desire to be more visible in your career field. And you had the desire also to move beyond an established professional identity. But at the same time, it could also create uncertainty about what's next for me, what's the next chapter, or it could have produced a sudden change in the position, in how you position yourself, or how you're seen by employers, by clients, by public. Moon for Taurus rising rules a third house. So third house themes becomes the main trigger behind the eclipse. What is it? It's message, announcement, documents, contract, interview, publication, examination, or younger siblings, short distance traveling, media writing, independent business, technical skills may also enter the public arena. So for example, if you had a slow, like behind the scenes, you were working on building some additional source of income through like a startup, or as an entrepreneur, with this eclipse, with the help of this eclipse, or unexpectedly, it can become a public information. Or it can be an unexpected short distance travel that has to be done for work. So Moon with the star Fomalhaut is one of the 4 main royal stars. It's about powerful ideas, vision, imagination, and desire also to serve something larger than your own dreams and ambitions. Here, a moon eclipse with this star in 10th house. So for Taurus, this star can affect, can create some very big ideal on how your career should go from now on, but it should be reality checked. Some people can receive more attention for example, for their work. Others, for example, can discover or finally realize and admit that the current professional environment, like they outgrew it, and they want something bigger, something more for, let's say, like they want to work for the better of the whole humanity, or they want to do something non-profit. And because the moon rules here communication, personal initiative, the words that came out of your mouth around this eclipse can affect your reputation. So be careful about any public statements, any social media posts, interviews, written agreements. All of this should be checked carefully. In the opposition, we have Sun and Mercury, and Ketu in Leo in the 4th house for Taurus. So here, Magha Nakshatra adds this themes of ancestry, lineage, family authority, inherited status, and Sun rules the 4, sitting in the 4th in its own sign. It's hemmed by benefics, but Sun still directly involved in eclipse, so home and career cannot be considered separately during the months following this eclipse, or specifically nowadays around the eclipse. Professional, like some offer to grow professionally can require a relocation, changes within the family, or a different work arrangement. The property decision or environment and home can directly affect the career and career plans. Now, we have T-square with Uranus. So this configuration So right now, Uranus goes through the Taurus rising first house. So it has already been changing the identity. Maybe there was a sudden desire to change the hair color or change the style of clothes, change the personal direction, or also need for more freedom. And now during the eclipse, it becomes the focal point of the whole T-square. So a change in career or home life may require a personal reinvention, or if the personal reinvention already happened, it can change your position at work, or it can also obviously affect family and home. So if there's a natal planet or in 10-11 degree of Scorpio in the 7th house, a temporarily fixed grand cross can form with this natal placement and transit T-square. So think about 4 or 5 degrees. But the strongest, of course, is 0 to 1 degree. So therefore, if that's a case, then this natal placement can bring the questions of marriage, business partnerships, clients, contracts, open conflict into the eclipse pattern. And this configuration can produce a major life redirection, involving all this important, like 4 pillars of our life. Basically, it's us, ourselves, it's home, our relationship with the world, with other people, with the spouse, with the partners, and the career. So and it can, like, for example, what kind of situation can play out. A spouse or a business partner can become a catalyst for professional change, or a contract may affect where the Taurus leaves, or the increased need for freedom can challenge an established relationship or public role, and the need to make readjustments in those areas. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer and transiting now the 3rd house. It is strong because it's in its own sign also in Navamsha. However, it's in difficult relationship with Moon eclipsed in 6-8 relationship, and it's hemmed between malefics. And there's opposition from Pluto. So there can be a good and bad things coming from Jupiter at the same time. Jupiter rules for Taurus rising 8 and 11 houses, so it carries the subjects of sudden change, questions of inheritance, shared finances, debt, secrets, research, professional gains, friendships, organizations, long-term ambitions. All this can be entangled in some ups and downs, sort of. So can be, for example, professional gain or like a bonus that you got at work, but it's following by unexpected expense or like some old financial obligations that needs to be paid out. Can be a career opportunity, but you need to make an investment, or it can require some questions of the 8th house. It can be the good moment to grow through writing, media, research, sales, or independent business. But there's also can be some things there unexpected, something that you didn't calculate it in the beginning, and now it start to come up like additional. I don't know, if you do the independent business, it can be some additional expenses. If you do research, you can hit the wall, and there need to be some more digging done. Now, Mars Rahu exchange, bringing Mars directly into the eclipse sphere. So they are increasing the strength of each other. Mars is also out of bounds this month, so it acts out of normality. And Rahu is also amplifier, so we have a double trouble, sort of. But it's like a strong wave that we, if we are able, if there's a promises in our chart that we are able to do so, we actually can use this big wave to reach something and somewhere faster. So for Taurus rising, what this can mean. Mars rules here 7th and 12th houses. So the questions of spouses, partners, clients, contracts, also foreign countries, also some expenses, isolations, or something that is taking place behind the scenes. And Mars now in the 2nd house. So it brings all these subjects of the 12th house into the money, into the savings, into the family circumstances. And a nakshatra exchange connects the 2nd and 10th houses. So, for example, the partner's decision can affect your career, or a business contract can change the income, or there can be some amazing foreign opportunity, but for the job, but it can require considerable expenses. Also, with this configuration, everything private, all the private information can become public, so be careful with that. Ardra. Ardra is all about storms, disruption, intense thought, investigation. And Khanishta is about rhythm. It's about ambition. It's about timing. It's also about participation in a larger group. So their exchange can produce a sudden opportunities in professional field through communication, through technology, through media, foreign contracts, or business partnership. But it can also produce some very sharp speech. It can create a background or good foundation for the public conflict, for the financial risk, for the excessive ambition. So here is important to understand the hidden dangers. But overall, this is a big wave that can bring you somewhere unexpectedly now on a completely another level in work or in relationship. Venus. Venus is important for Taurus because it's the ruler of this sign. And so therefore it represents the body, the identity, relationships, personal comfort, and overall well-being, right? And Venus is now debilitated. It's under the Mars and Saturn aspects. So it's under considerable pressure. So Venus, so Tauruses and Libras are a bit under the weather now, can be. And Venus transiting the 5th house, which is education, which is intelligence. It's also speculation, so everything about the stock market. Also, 5th house is the ability to experience joy. So this can be a little bit dimmed now or toned down. Taurus ascendants can feel, for example, unusually critical of themselves, of their work, of their relationship, of their what's their progress in education, for example, or they can be very disappointed in, for example, how the investment project is going. But it's going to pass. Although Venus is going into the loop of the retrograde motion. And I will be doing another podcast about this because I think around the eclipse it's actually starting to go into the loop. Mars with the 4th aspect adds impatience, conflict, financial pressure, and Saturn adds at the same time heavier responsibility. It can create some situations of delay, and like this push and pull energies can be quite disorienting, quite frustrating. Jupiter is not supportive of Venus now, and Mercury as well. However, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, therefore it deposits Venus, and Mercury is also heavily combusted now by Sun. Although it's in the 4th house now, so there's some degree of cancellation, but still it doesn't give support to Venus. Now let's go over all rising nakshatra for the Taurus. So let's start with Kritika. Kritika is ruled by Sun, and it's a participator of the eclipse. So therefore, Sun is in the 4th house with Leo. So this period of eclipse can be important for all the questions about home, property, parents, education, family leadership, all the ancestral matters. For Rohini rising, Rohini is ruled by Moon. Moon is getting eclipsed in the 10th house. So therefore, it's also heavily activated through the nakshatra ruler. So here for Rohini rising, more the focus is shifting more to career, to public announcement, to change of professional status, and 3rd house themes can become a trigger to the changes in the 10th house field. So a document, an interview, a publication, or even conversation, social media event can trigger the event in the career field. Mrigashira rising, ruled by Mars. Mars is in Ardra, and through nakshatra exchange, it is participating in the eclipse. So here it's more of connection with the 7 and 12 houses. It can be pushed into the focus for Mrigashira rising. So a client can influence professional direction, or a spouse can say, no, you're not going to work there anymore, for example. Or there can be some big, huge foreign or even online opportunity that will obviously affect an income. So what Taurus rising should check? All the houses requiring closest examinations are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, especially around 10-11 degrees. If you have natal placements, check those out. Now, at the period, people who are in the period connected to Moon, Sun, Venus, Mars, Rahu, and Jupiter can feel it stronger. People with natal planets in Shatabhisha, Dhanishta, Ardra, Magha, or near Fomalhaut star can experience more visible expression and manifestation during this eclipse. Of course, Ashtaka should be checked in the 1st, 4th, 7, and 10 houses and angular houses. And the strength of the 5th house is very important, where the Venus is debilitated now. Okay, next is Gemini. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now, I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potentials. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. For Gemini rising, the eclipse is happening in the 9th house. Moon getting eclipsed in the 9th house. In Satabhisha, it's ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is within 5 degrees of the eclipsed moon. So 9th house is all about higher education, teachers, belief systems, religion, law, publishing, long distance travel, immigration, the father figures, authorities, also the general direction of person's destiny. And here we can have a major change in worldview happen. Person may question his teacher or his mentor or his the leader. It can question institution or belief that previously guided the important decisions in his life. For Gemini rising, Moon rules the second house. So money, income, personal values, financial security, all can be drawn into the 9th house theme. So for example, publishing or international matter can affect an income. A family decision can require a relocation or long distance travel. Moon is with Fomalhaut is one of the main, most important 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is all about ideals. It's about your spiritual purpose, imagination, moral compass. And in the 9th house, this can affect religious or political beliefs or academic institutions that you are participating. Can affect foreign countries, publishing. You can discover that a mentor or institution does not represent the values they expected, or they over idealized them before, and now they can see them for who they are. Sun and Mercury in the 3rd house in opposition to eclipsed Moon. The Sun rules the 3rd and it's strong in its own sign, so it supports for Gemini rising, the writing, communication, independent work, entrepreneurship, media, teaching. However, Sun is part of this eclipse. So communication can become intense, public, or controversial. The 3rd and 9th house axis can describe the relationship between facts and beliefs, between personal experience and formal education. Some Gemini ascendants can decide to be key in, or on the contrary, to leave an educational program. Others can become involved in a legal or immigration matter or publishing. For Gemini, the condition of Mercury is important, and Mercury right now is very heavily combusted. It's very close to the Sun. So it is also, therefore, it is participant of the eclipse. So this makes eclipse for every Gemini ascendant very personal as well. Their mind can be overreactive or preoccupied, trying to keep digging into the information, trying to find the answers for all the questions. Communication can become sharp or too confident. Like important details can be missed in the discussions, and the decisions can be done too quickly. Now, T-square, Uranus transit through the 12th house, and it creates this apex for the eclipse. 12th house is all about foreign countries, expenses, isolation, sleep, hospitals, institutions, private enemies, spiritual retreat, event that happening behind the scenes. So Uranus can therefore bring sudden expense or travel that didn't go as planned, or it can be unexpected foreign development in the business, for example, or in the online sphere. So on the better type of manifestation, it can be a development, and on the negative side, it can be an exposure of something, an abrupt exposure and breakage of something that was previously neglected in the business, for example. So we have the T-square between 3rd, 12th, and 9th houses. So check if you have any natal placements around 10 or 11 degrees in Scorpio. And then this T-square can become a fixed grand cross with natal placement. The strongest will be within approximately 3 degrees, and can be up to 4 or 5. Still can affect, create the situation for manifestation. So Scorpio is the 6th house for Gemini rising, and here natal placement can bring questions of work, health, routines, debt, disputes, some court things, employees, questions of competition and obligations into the eclipse pattern. So possible expressions can be, for example, a legal or immigration issue will require more than expected following up and documentation. Can be unexpected expense involving healthcare or foreign country, so 6 or 12 house themes. Can be conflict between teacher and yourself. Can be exhaustion that caused by travel, by deadlines, by study, or by some excessive communication. Jupiter here in Cancer, transiting 2nd house for Gemini rising. It's from one side it's strong, from another side it's pretty challenged. It's in its exaltation sign, in its own Navamsha, but it's under the Pluto's gaze, and it's hemmed by malefics. Also, it's in a 6-8 relationship with the eclipsed moon. It's called Sakata Yoga. So here we can see both good and bad that Jupiter can bring into the light. So Jupiter here for Gemini rules 7 and 10 houses. So it can connect marriage, clients, business partnerships, career, professional authority, and public standing, and bring those themes into the 2nd house. The 2nd house is all about money, income. So, for example, can be earnings through the spouse, through the business partner, through client base, through professional position. Obstruction from Pluto happening from the 8th house. So therefore, 8th house is also shared finances, so debt, taxes, inheritance, investments. So Pluto can bring these strings attached from the questions of career and relationships. So it can be pressure from creditors. For example, you have a joint account, and there's some debt needs to be repaid right now. It can be some unexpected taxes or taxes that are growing, the new taxes from the government. It can be questions of inheritance, insurance, investments. So the 6-8 relationship with eclipsed moon can, like taking all of this together, few manifestations can happen. It can be some career opportunity that followed by unexpected financial demands. It can be growth through business partnership, but it requires restructuring of shared money. It can be a legal or international matter affecting family finances. It can be new income, potentially very good, connected with publishing, with teaching, counseling, or foreign clients, or through the internet. Again, followed by taxes, debt payments, or investment obligations. It can be spouse, financial or professional circumstances affecting the household. It can be contract that appears favorable but contains hidden conditions. It can be professional growth following a period of financial pressure. Now, Mars and Rahu in Nakshatra exchange. For Gemini rising, Mars rules the 6th and 11th houses. So Mars here is all about work, health routines, competition, debts, disagreements, income, professional gains, friendships, organizations, and long-term goals. And Mars in the 1st house make this matter is highly personal. Mars is transiting now the first house for Gemini, and you can feel more desire to act, to compete, to defend a position, to pursue a goal immediately. Physical energy can increase along with impatience and irritability. Don't forget that Mars has also the energy of Rahu now, and Mars is also out of bounds. So that can produce an 11 house themes it brings, 6 house and 9. So this can produce some legal disputes, some competition within an academic or let's say religious institution, can be conflict with a teacher. That's that. So extra care, be extra careful with the driving, with physical exertion. Don't exercise too much. Don't get into arguments, confrontations, especially around law, religion, or politics. Venus is transiting now the 4th house for Gemini, and it's debilitated and it's under the Mars and Saturn malefic influence. Here, Venus rules the 5th house and 12th house. And Mars can bring urgency and aggressive energy and into the Venus manifestation, and Saturn, on the contrary, it wants to delay everything. It wants to bring extra responsibility, extra duty, extra consequences. So here Venus is in this push and pull position. It's weak, it's debilitated, and the possible manifestations can be some expenses involving the home, children, education, or travel. There can be some conflict rising between your career and home life. Can be romantic, if you had any romance happening before, romantic relationship. This period can bring some temporarily dissatisfaction. So just be careful, don't make any decisions right now, because just the whole area of romance is a bit low now. Mrigashira. Now let's go through the all rising nakshatras. Mrigashira rising for Gemini. So Mrigashira ruled by Mars, and Mars is a sort of participant of eclipse because it's a nakshatra exchange with Rahu. So Mrigashira ascendants can actually make a important progress through the through the courage, through the effort, but be careful with impulsive action. Ardra rising. Ardra is ruled by Rahu, so therefore it's one of the creators of the eclipse. It is close to the eclipsed moon in the 9th house, and Rahu occupies Dhanishta, ruled by Mars. So Ardra rising also in this loop between Rahu and Mars now. So this makes Ardra ascendants also very strongly activated by eclipse. Can be change in belief and education and legal status. Can be change of travel plans. Can be some change in relationship with a teacher, with a mentor, and a change of those relationships can alter the whole entire life direction of the person. Rahu can produce, on the good note, Rahu can produce a rapid growth through the foreign contacts, through technology, through publishing, through research, or overall unconventional education. And the warning here, it can create obsession, it can create ideological conflict, it can create uncertainty about whom to trust. Now Punarvasu rising for Gemini rising. Punarvasu ruled by Jupiter, and so the condition of Jupiter becomes very central for you guys. I already explained everything about Jupiter. But more or less, financial conditions, shared resources, taxes, debt, or partners' obligations can complicate an otherwise promising development. Punarvasu here carries the symbolism of second chances, of return, of restoration, of finding a path after the period of disruption or destruction. So, and you can feel those themes more now. You can feel that there's like something was disrupted or is going through disruption phase, and there's right away you see the opportunity to rebuild on more stable terms. And actually, it's for this disruption is happening for the good. So again, let's go over what Gemini rising should check in their charts. The most sensitive areas are around 10-11 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Natal planets in these degrees will receive the fixed eclipse pattern directly. Ashtaka Varga should be checked for 3rd, 6th, 9, and 12 houses. And 2nd and 8 houses are also important because the Jupiter-Pluto opposition and the Sakata Yoga. So overall, for Gemini rising, there is some information revealed around the eclipse can change the direction of travel, of education, of legal affairs, and or professional plans. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Cancer rising. For Cancer rising, the lunar eclipse on August 28th is happening in the 8th house. And Moon is your Lagnesha, it's a chart ruler, and it's getting eclipsed. So this is very important. As always, Cancer feels the movement of moons on a very high level. And it can affect the identity, the emotional stability, the physical well-being. Overall, direction in life can change or can be altered or can be questioned. The 8th house is all about debt, taxes, inheritance, insurance. It can be secrets, research, psychological transformation. Eclipse of the Lagna Lord can reveal something that has remained hidden before. You should not automatically interpret this as a crisis of the body. It's actually a crisis that can lead to healing, to spiritual transformation, to be able to rebuild after some struggles. The moon now with the star Fomalhaut, it's one of the main 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is about ideals, vision, spiritual purpose, desire to remain true to a higher principle. And in the 8th house, it can connect with the topics of trust, with intimacy with financial agreements. Again, inheritance or some hidden truths can emerge. Sun and Mercury and Ketu are in the second house. Sun and Mercury are within, approximately 1 degree, so Mercury is heavily combusted now, and Sun in Makha Nakshatra. So we have a second in 8 houses axis. So we have personal income, savings, family resources, food values against secrets, against insurance, inheritance. Ketu now can produce some detachment from money, from family expectations, from even inherited identity. It can also reveal when a person has relied too heavily upon status or financial security. Mercury rules the 12th house. So it brings 3rd and 12th. So it brings the documents, contracts, relationship with siblings, short distance travel, expenses, foreign matters, and private information. All can be intertwined with the eclipse period. All contracts, tax documents, insurance policies, bank records, shared financial arrangements should be checked carefully. On the good note, Sun is hammed. Sun, Mercury, and Ketu are hammed between benefics, Jupiter in Cancer, and Venus in Virgo. And so this creates a supportive energy for the second house. So there is some protection, even though Venus is debilitated now and heavily pressured by Mars and Saturn. The difficult financial or family matter may eventually find a solution. And help can come through an advisor or a friend or, let's say, practical reorganization of expenses. Now we have a T-square. Uranus with eclipse is forming a square. And if you have any planets placements in Scorpio, which is 5th house for Cancer, then there's a possibility of creating a grand cross. Now, the possible manifestation of this configuration can be an investment or a speculative decision done now, affecting the 8 house themes, the shared finances. It can be some unexpected expenses connected with a child or with education or with in the field of romantic relationship. On the negative note, for example, romantic relationship that was building before now can raise the question about trust within those relationships, or there can be some money questions. There can be some professional gain followed by taxes or debt obligations. It can be some relationship between taxes and profession. A friend can become involved in financial agreement. Can be some sudden changes in income affecting family plans. Jupiter here is in different now condition. And it's important for Cancer because Jupiter is traveling through the 1st house. And it's been traveling there for a few months now, and until the November, when it will go into Gandanta zone with Mars and Ketu. For Cancer rising, Jupiter rules 6 and 9 houses, and through this transit overall, can bring growth, can bring protection, can bring education, guidance, and renewed sense of purpose. But it can also bring growth of personality, but also it can bring growth on the physical level, on the body. It can bring lots and lots of optimism. But for example, recently it was heavily combusted, and everybody who ruled by Jupiter or who has like important transit of Jupiter in, like, for example, in identity house like Cancer, they might felt like there's a little bit much lower optimism overall. So it's not always the same. And now Jupiter is also opposed by Pluto in Capricorn from the 7th house. Pluto is very slow-moving grahas, and it goes through your 7th house of relationship, of marriage, of business partnerships, clients, contracts. So there can be an attempt from your partner to control your direction in life, or to control your decision, or there can be some professional agreement can involve an unequal distribution of power, or there can be a period of very heavy clients in your life. Overall, Pluto can expose hidden conditions within a contract or within a relationship. And this Jupiter's desire to grow through the first house themes must be met with another person's expectations, with the resources of another person, with authority of another person. It can be quite uncomfortable. Now, Jupiter is also hampered by malefics from Mars from one side and Sun, Ketu, and heavily combusted Mercury from another. So it's a papakartari type, not just for Jupiter, but also for the first house for Cancer. This also gives some it can bring like this restrictive energies. Mars can bring some expenses, some hidden obligations, some also it can create some reduced energy, or like some energy that is bubbling up underneath, but it doesn't have the proper ability to work through. And Sun and Ketu from the 2nd house can place pressure on family, on financial decisions. So it's not an easy situation here. On top of this, Jupiter is also in a 6-8 relationship with eclipsed moon during lunar eclipse. It's called Sakata Yoga. So we have a transit Sakata Yoga during lunar eclipse. So very complex situation for Jupiter here. Overall, for Cancer, involvement goes between 1st, 6th, 8th, and 9th houses for this yoga. So it can be, let's say, a health or work issue leading to major change in lifestyle. It can be help from a teacher, doctor, advisor after a complicated situation. Can be some educational opportunity, but it requires considerable expense. It can be a crisis of faith followed by clear sense of direction. So sort of up and down energy, fluctuation, obstruction, but eventually recovery over the following weeks and months from this complication. Mars, your Yoga Karaka, Cancer, and it's in Nakshatra exchange. Mars in Ardra ruled by Rahu. Rahu is in Dhanishta ruled by Mars. And first and foremost, of course, they making each other more strong. Especially Mars now is also out of bounds. And Rahu is overall, it's like a very it can be like a big wave situation. And it's important to understand which areas of your life it's activating, how it interplay with each other. So you can actually use this big wave to get where you want faster and easier with the less efforts. So for the Cancer rising, Mars is ruler of the 5th and 10th houses. Important Yoga Karaka planet. So it's connecting education, intelligence, career, authority, professional accomplishments. And Mars going through the 12th house. So it's connecting the foreign countries, private work, events developing behind the scenes. So some career project, creative projects that you want to make it a part of your career require some serious private preparation right now. Some Cancer ascendants may work with foreign clients or temporarily withdraw from public activity, or they want to withdraw in order, but not try to make a distinction between like just isolation, but also between like creating something so later on you can present it into the public. Rahu in the 8th now brings this energy, extensive ability to research, to work with hidden information, even to make some sudden realizations, sudden transformations. And this nakshatra exchange links the 8th and 12th houses, which both rules this hidden processes and things that are outside of control, ordinary control or ordinary comprehension or understanding. So this exchange, first and foremost, support any research, any healing work, any investigation, spiritual practice, any work connected with foreign lands, or projects that are running confidentially, and have to be secret. Saturn is in opposition with debilitated Venus now. This opposition for Cancer rising can bring some difficult conversations with a partner or family member. It can be delays involving property or questions or about education or travel, relocation. It can be increased responsibilities toward a sibling, for example. It can be professional gains requiring more work than expected. Now let's go over nakshatra risings. And first will be Punarvasu rising. Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is, the condition of Jupiter is important now. And as I said, it's like lots of ups and downs for Jupiter ruled individuals. Lots of fluctuations. But Jupiter remains strong enough to provide at least recovery. And, Punarvasu itself carries the symbolism of restoration, of returning to a safer path after a disruptive period. So, it's just like you may feel like you are in the middle of the storm with lots of opportunities, but at the same time, lots of some hidden things, unexpected. But just keep in mind that there's a safer path ahead of you. Pushya risings ruled by Saturn. Saturn right now in 9th house for Cancers and rules the 7th and 8th. So here it's will be more involvement around relationships, around shared finances, higher education, teachers. So overall 7, 8, and 9 houses can be important. And in Saturn ruled sign, actually Moon is getting eclipsed. Saturn is also coming to a very close square to Mars in September 1st. So around the eclipse, it's already getting into there. So there can be some conflict energies around and around those themes in life. So Pushya ascendants may need to balance partnership obligations, some demands from the career, travel plans, and family responsibilities. Now Ashlesha rising. Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is heavily combusted now, and by Sun, and it's participant of the eclipse. Mercury here rules the 3rd and 12th houses, so it's be careful around words, about sharing the passwords. Don't share the passwords. Any confidential information should be protected. Can be some missing documents now or unclear instructions, like in all all this can create unnecessary expense. Or, for example, you missed the documents, and then like someone is rushing you and you can't find it, and then you pay for something unnecessary, and then like a week later you find that you actually can find your document, and that fee, for example, could have been avoided. So don't rush also don't get rushed by other people for something unnecessary, specifically for expenses. So overall, what Cancer rising should check now? The most sensitive degrees are around 10-11 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. So natal planets in these signs will receive will receive the eclipse activation right away. Check the Ashtaka Varga of the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. And the 1st and 7th houses are very important because we have a Jupiter and Pluto opposition there. So overall, for Cancer rising, the eclipse is about identity, it's about trust, it's about money, it's about relationships, it's about the idea of future security. Exalted Jupiter in its own Navamsha provides definitely substantial resilience, but it's in the tricky situation, so there can be ups and downs. An eclipse Lagna Lord shows that, you know, the Cancer rising might need more time to understand the full meaning of events around them happening right now. Also, Cancer risings are very they have a fluctuating emotions throughout the day, so it's important to ground yourself, to do any meditations, any practices that helps stabilize the mood. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope, it can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Leo rising. For Leo rising, the lunar eclipse of August 28 takes place at approximately 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in the 7th house. The moon in Shatabhisha, ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is very close to the eclipsed moon, within 5 degrees. So 7th house is all about marriage, intimate relationships, business partners, clients, contracts, negotiations, and open rivalries, open enemies, open confrontations. So it can bring a turning point to an important relationship or agreement. Something that was hidden before now can break open. Moon rules the 12th house for Leo rising, so the questions of expenses can come to the questions of with the spouse, or foreign countries. Could it be a partner going for a long trip, or vice versa, he's coming back home from the long trip? some long distance, isolation, sleep, all this can affect the relationships with the clients, with the business partners, with spouses. Can be also a relationship with foreign or long distance character, or it can be expenses caused by spouse or business partner. Now, moon with a star, one of the main four royal stars, Fomalhaut. It's associated with ideals, with vision, with a spiritual purpose, and the desire to maintain moral integrity. In the seventh house, it can lead a person to place a partner, advisor, or public figure upon a pedestal. It can reveal, this eclipse can reveal that relationship was created around the ideal or some vision or maybe even illusion. It was projected, this illusion was projected onto this relationship, and it was built around this illusion that was not real. So the moon eclipse here can expose this if that was the case. So it can also bring some ethical question involving a client, a contract, marriage, or public alliance. Sun, Mercury, and Ketu are in the first house. Mercury is very heavily combust. Ketu is, so it's all happening in the Magha nakshatra. So check your natal placements there. What is the degree of ascendant? Is it close to Sun, Mercury, Ketu, or not? Ketu in the first house, overall, this long period of transit that is finishing in November 2026, in a few months. Ketu was creating a detachment from your old identity, some role, some title, ambition that once felt very important and central to your identity was through this few, 1 year and a half, could lose its importance. Leo ascendants may want greater independence, while others may question whether they still recognize themselves in the mirror or recognize themselves in the current relationship. Mercury rules houses of monies, and it's heavily combusted now by Sun. So the financial side of the story can be a bit blurred now. The financial discussion with a partner can happen. A friend or professional organization may influence a relationship decision. A business contract may change income or public standing. Now Uranus and the T-square. Uranus is a transiting 11th house. Oh no, it's transiting your 10th house now, for a while now, and it will be there for a while until 2029, probably even more. Wait, let me check. In 2031, it will transit to Gemini. So you are in a period of, big changes, and sometimes can be even unexpected changes in professional sphere. It can be sudden desire for independence in the career. It can be a professional project or development involving technology, media, or some unconventional development of some unconventional idea or business. Uranus right now in Rohini, and it's ruled by eclipsed moon, so it directly connects professional changes here for Leo rising with relationship eclipse. A partner's decision may affect the career. A new professional opportunity may change a relationship, so they can affect each other. Some Leo ascendants may find that their public role is no longer compatible with their, relationship and agreement, or vice versa. Check the Scorpio if you have any natal placements around 10-11 degree. So therefore, the T-square can become a fixed grand cross temporarily through the transit. Here, the grand cross would activate all 4 angular houses, all 4 pillars of your chart. The first house of identity, of personal direction, the 4th house of home, family, 7th house of marriage, partnership, and 10th house of career, public, and standing. And this can describe a major structural change. This all areas of, like, from these 4 pillars of life can affect each other. New job can require relocation. Your partner will not want to relocate, so therefore you have to go to the long distance relationship with a partner. Or partner's circumstances may alter your home situation, or there can be some property decision that has to be done, and it will affect both relationship and your own identity. Jupiter exalted now in your 12th house, and it rules 5th and 8th for Leo. Jupiter is obstructed by Pluto and Capricorn. It's hemmed by malefics, but it's still strong, and it's forming 6-8 relationship with the eclipsed moon. It's called Sakata Yoga, but it's going to be a transit Sakata Yoga. So in this situation, the possible manifestation can be a relationship opportunity, or business relationship opportunity that will be accompanied together by unexpected expenses. Or it can be, your partner is going through difficult periods in his or her emotional or professional life. It can be some romantic relationship that are long distance, that are becoming long distance, or that they are, you have to keep those relationship secret. It can be unexpected expenses around education, children, like some investment projects. Now, Mars and Rahu in Nakshatra exchange. So Mars is ruling 4th and 9th houses for Leo rising. So it's a yoga kark. It's an important planet for Leo rising. So it's connecting home, property, education, themes with long distance travel, with good fortune. And here Mars is transiting through the 11th house. So we have a very nice transit combination, and there's like a transit Thana yoga for Mars. Mars now is out of bounds. It can be acting a little bit too much, but this exchange with Rahu Nakshatra is actually making them both much stronger than they are. So Mars in 11th can bring gains through initiative, through leadership, through technical work, through networking, participation in some large scale organization. But it can also create a conflict within friendships, within professional groups, within those same large scale organizations. So be careful. This is like this nakshatra exchange between Mars and Rahu is like a big wave that if you have the ability to handle it, it can bring you where you want faster with less effort. And here is obviously for Leo risings, it's all about networks, it's about gains, it's about properties. Now Rahu is in the which house? So it's 11th house, and wait, which one is it? In 7th, yes. So here this nakshatra exchange links the 11th house with the 7th house. So we have a mix of gain and ambitions with partnerships. So obviously business alliance may bring a new source of income. A friend can become a partner or competitor. A professional group or network can influence a marriage or personal relationship as well. Now, debilitated Venus in second house transits now, and so Purva Phalguni ascendants should be especially cautious with spending, with financial agreements, with professional promises, and overall, conversations that are getting into like a heated arguments. During the following months, I need to mention for Leo, for actually for the Cancer rising as well, because it's in the end of the Cancer and the beginning of Leo. So here we will have Jupiter, Mars, Ketu traveling through the Gandanta region between Cancer and Leo. So here it will be boundary between the 12th and the first houses for Leo risings. So it can represent the transition from some retreat to the action, to the new personal cycle. Jupiter will move from the 12th toward the 1st. And this actually can bring a period of greater confidence, of greater visibility, personal growth. But at first, it must cross this Gandanta zone. And it will actually cross Gandanta zone 2 times, because then it will go retrograde and then it will go directly again. So it's actually go 1, 2, 3, probably 3 times. So these topics of unfinished financial, emotional, or relationship matters may need to be resolved actually a few times. Mars will cross the same sensitive boundary in November, so there can be some questions can become more urgent about home, property, long distance travel, or even career related decisions. And Ketu will bring this together with it some release. So again, very conflicting energies are had in November. Now let's go over the nakshatra risings. Magha rising is ruled by Ketu, and obviously it directly affected by eclipse. So identity, authority, appearance, health, relationships, public status all require attention. For Purva Phalguni rising, it's ruled by Venus. Venus now is debilitated, and it receives the affliction from Mars, from Saturn. So money, family, resources, be careful with speech, relationships, all require careful management. For example, professional opportunity can bring some financial strain, or relationship discussion may reveal that you are too different now. You have a different values and different expectations from relationships. Uttara Phalguni rising ruled by Sun, and Sun obviously again is participant of the eclipse. So Uttara Phalguni nakshatras will have actually more personal strength now, more ability to make important decisions. What can increase for Uttara Phalguni? It can increase the energies of visibility, confidence, leadership. The Ketu's presence in the first house still indicates some process of detachment from old identity. And here it's important to check Ashtaka Varga in Leo to understand what kind of results the eclipse can produce. So Leo rising should check if there's any natal placements around the sensitive degrees, 10 and 11 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Ashtaka Varga should be checked. And for Leo rising, this eclipse concern the balance between personal identity, partnership, home, public direction, The sun is strong, but Ketu's presence always shows that strength may need to be expressed through a different role or a new understanding of who the person has become. And I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Okay, let's go to Virgo rising. So Virgo rising moon, or your planetary period ruler, the lunar eclipse on August 28 happens around 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in your 6th house. Moon sits in Shatabhisha nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is about 5 degrees from the eclipse moon. 6th house is all about your job, your daily routine, healthy habits, debts, disagreements, competition, employee service, and daily tasks. An eclipse in this area can reveal a work routine that isn't working anymore, a forgotten responsibility, or a hidden conflict. It might as well show, if there's other significators in your chart, some health issue that needs to be addressed immediately. Maybe it was some health issue ignored for a while, or it was hidden, and now with this lunar eclipse it might become visible, or it might become too annoying so in order for you to start paying attention. Moon rules your 11th house, so it brings income, professional gains, friendships, audiences, organizations, and long-term ambitions into the 6th house. So part of your income can go into the health expenses, or let's say some friendships can become potentially more a colleague partnerships. So you might find that career win comes with extra effort as well. You might feel tension with your friends. You might find some competition or money issues with them. An organization might change its rules, which could impact your job or income. Or some Virgo risings may realize a goal is no longer worth the stress or effort, or it's too expensive on their health. So Moon is with one of the 4 royal stars, Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is about ideals, visions, healing, and a sense of purpose. In the 6th house, it can spark a strong urge to help, to serve, to fix, to improve things around you and in your daily life. The eclipse can reveal whether a workplace, health routine, or service role still agrees with the principles it claims to represent. Since the moon rules your 11th house, issues with professional networks and group goals may stand out now. You might need to think carefully about which people and organizations are worth your time and energy. Sun, Mercury, and Ketu is on the other side of the chart in the 12th house, now in Leo. They are very close together. Mercury is very combust, and Mercury is your chart ruler. So 6 and 12 houses show the balance between work and rest, helping others and taking time for yourself, handling daily duties versus meeting your private needs, spending time, energy on your work, and spending time and energy to recover those energy, to recharge your batteries. Sun is very strong there. It's sitting in its own sign, and it has a benefic support from the neighboring houses. So there's a support for foreign travel, research, spiritual practice, charity, private work, and the completion of an old cycle. If you spend days around lunar eclipse traveling, great. Spiritual practice, some retreat, also great. Although, lunar eclipse may also increase expenses or the need to step away from some draining situation. So Mercury rules your first house and 10th house, and it relates, it's all about your body, mind, sense of self, and career, and authority, and reputation. So for Virgo, it's very naturally that their career is actually part of themselves. And because Mercury now is in the 12th house, it's very heavily combusted. You might feel less visible. You might feel more tired. You find it hard to express yourself. Your career plans could seem unclear. Important work decisions may happen behind the scenes or involve foreign places, hospitals, institutions, remote jobs, or private matters. On the positive side, this setup can help with research, with writing, with private study, or any work that needs focus away from the spotlight. The challenge is keeping your judgment clear while Mercury is so combust doing your research. Be sure to double check the documents, the messages, travel plans, all the medical forms, work agreements. Try not to sign any documents, important documents during these days. T-square with Uranus at the apex so Uranus is transiting your 9th house, Taurus now, and it's going to be there until 2031. And it's squaring eclipses. So 9th house is your worldview. It's also questions of immigration, long-distance travels, higher education, teachers, beliefs, publishing. So Uranus here, these few years, disrupting, bringing surprises. It can create some sudden legal news, changes in travel, disruptions in school, or big shift in what you believe. And Uranus now in moon-ruled nakshatra Rohini. And this connects those changes in a 9th house directly to your job, directly to your healthy habits, to your debts, to professional circles, and also in you directly, like in your body. Now, change in immigration status could impact your job. Legal ruling might bring extra cost. Travel or school plans could clash with work. So all these have some extra tension now. So if there's any natal planet in 10 or 11 degrees in Scorpio, the T-square can potential to become a fixed grand cross, a transit fixed grand cross. So the strongest activation is within approximately 3 degrees, although 5, 6 is also can be felt, can be manifested. So for Virgo rising Scorpio in your 3rd house, so check the planets there. And this grand cross would activate your 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th houses. And here are some ways it might show up. First and foremost, a legal matter, a legal question that requires extensive documentation, a work dispute connected with a travel or education. It can be some sibling circumstances creating an extra expense, a publication or public statement producing professional conflict, a visa or immigration issue affecting employment, health or fatigue interfering with traveling plans, hidden information becoming relevant to a contract or dispute. Fixed signs can make it harder to negotiate, and keeping good records and clear timelines will be very helpful now. Now, you are experiencing Venus transit over your 1st house, and Venus is debilitated there. Also, it's afflicted under Mars aspect and Saturn aspect, so it's pretty heavily weakened. It rules your 2nd and 9th houses, so important placements for money, for fortune, for values, for education, long distance opportunities. And normally Venus in your 1st house would boost your charm, your confidence, relationship with other people, money prospects. But since Venus is debilitated and so heavily afflicted these benefits are much weaker now. Now, possible manifestations considering Mars and Saturn aspect can be delayed payments or delayed income, can be financial disagreements with spouse or business partner, can be expenses connected with children or education. There can rise a conflict between personal values and professional demands, a relationship being tested by work or debt, reduced confidence caused by financial uncertainty. You know, even if there's no financial uncertainty, there's still some thoughts coming in the back of your mind. What if? An investment can be an investment requiring more time before producing results. Now Saturn is transiting your 7th house, and it's bringing lots of restructuring and rebuilding new boundaries in the sphere of marriage, business partnerships, contracts. All those are serious and heavy topics for you now. Saturn is leaving your 7th house in June 2027, so until then it will be restructuring inevitably your relationship with the spouse, with the partners, with the clients. The way you actually build your relationship will be rebuilt. Now Saturn in opposition with Venus, and it creates a very real tension between you and your partner even more. And one of you might feel limited by the other's financial needs or expectations, or both of you. Now Saturn is in square with Mars, and September 1st it will be in exact square. So this creates even more pressure between partnership responsibilities and professional action. So Mars wants to move quickly. It's out of bounds. It's in air sign in a 10th house for you. And Saturn says, no, we need to do everything properly. We need patience. We need clear terms. And the result can be push and pull. It can be productive when both planets are handled like both energies are handled with conscious. And if there's a lot of fog and uncertainty, you know, Saturn is in Pisces and Neptune is still nearby, there can be lots of confrontational, very counterintuitive energies. Important to notice that Mars and Rahu in Nakshatra exchange. Mars out of bounds, Rahu is participant of eclipse. So Mars is drawn into the eclipse vortex. So this creates a huge, think about surfing. This creates a huge wave, and you either, like if you're sure in your skill of conquer it and use it, you go for it. If not, just better just stay aside, stay on the beach, wait for the storm to go down. Mars in Ardra Nakshatra. It's all about storms. It's all about lots of unexpected, exaggerated things. So Mars for Virgo rising ruled 3rd and 8th houses, termination houses, very tricky houses. So 3rd is about communication, your personal effort, your entrepreneurship, contracts, research, shared finances is research, shared finances, and hidden information. And sudden change is the 8th house, and Mars in the 10th house, which is all about career and reputation. And it's particularly strong here. It's in with a directional strength there. So it actually can help you to take an action in your professional life, to be more courageous and use all the research that's been done before to create a good change for yourself in professional sphere. Both houses, Rahu in 6th and Mars in 10th, are Upachaya houses. So they help whenever we have a malefic in Upachaya houses, it can give this elevation. So it's Upachaya houses is where with persistence, with skill, with competition, you can actually produce more and more results with the time. So it's a great wave to catch for Virgo risings, but there's also can be some danger here to fall, of course, with this big wave. So manifestations how it can be manifested. So career growth through technical work, through media, through research, crisis management. Can be success in competitive professional environment. Of course, if there are other supportive combinations in your chart for this. The exposure of some hidden information, and actually it can be for your benefit. There can be some decisive career change, also for the better. Leadership during a workplace disruption, a professional gain following conflict or litigation. And overall, any work involving investigation, finance, medicine, security, or technology can be quite beneficial. I have Moon in Virgo, and I feel this. And whenever I have a moment, I'm actually searching now how, I'm not searching, it's been a long time. I have a few sources to learn how to try to implement astrology into the stock market. This is not my forte. I never had any idea of doing that, but I see that it might actually help me to navigate through the, the investments, like how to use astrology in investment, how to use it for my own good. This is something that I'm researching now and investigating myself. So, it's very much this big wave that I'm trying to use this momentum, because the energies are very beneficiary now. 8th house, Mars rules 8th house, so lots of changes can happen suddenly. Your job might end actually, or private issue could become public, or crisis might push you into stronger position, or you actually will want this private issue to become public. You don't want to keep the secret anymore. It's too heavy for you. You want for people to know that. So, this exchange definitely brings lots of amplification. It gives you determination, but it can also, the down part here, it can lead to conflict. It can intense ambition. You can overestimate your own abilities, and it can bring risks to your reputation. So be careful what you say in public. Be careful not to spill secrets that don't belong to you as well. Exalted Jupiter now in the 11th house, and it rules your 4th and 7th houses, important houses. It's one of the central pillars of our lives, right? It's home, it's property, it's family, partner, business contacts, clients, education. And so here, Jupiter is in a very tricky position. First, it's exalted, and it's in its own Navamsha sign, but it's been under Pluto's, strings attached energies from the 5th house. It's hemmed by malefics. So Pluto, first and foremost, it can bring control issues to the area with the area of 5th house themes, so which is investments, kids, romance, creative projects. So, if you've been creating something, someone's criticism, you can take very seriously, or it can be hurtful. Or for example, a partner could have a strong opinions about money or family plans or your investments, and it might be different from your own view, and it can create some clash here. Jupiter can bring big changes through partners, through contracts, through property or public connections, and it might, these events will have a bigger impact than, if it's good event, if it's good changes, you would be happy, right? But if it's changes that are not so plausible or unexpected, it can be not that pleasant. Also, Jupiter in Sakata Yoga with Moon Eclipse. They're in a relationship 6-8. So here, this setup can cause ups and downs with your income in your partnerships, in work and long-term plans. And this is Moon is a very fast-moving planet, but because it's happening during eclipse, this Sakata Yoga, it might have an effect in your life for the next few months and even few weeks and even months. So possible manifestations here can be a professional gain followed by additional work or expenses. or help from a partner after some problem in at workplace, or there can be some real great property opportunity or investments, but then it gets complicated by some legal conditions or by some other hidden conditions that has been hidden before, and now they're coming to light. There can be some income changing because of health or employment circumstances. A friendship becoming entangled with work or money or both. There can be a promising contract requiring further negotiation, and the whole process can be through ups and downs and can be very unpleasant. So it's in Parpakartari, it's with a Pluto aspect, with Sakata Yoga, so it's all the progress may come from making changes, not from things going smoothly, regarding home, regarding partners, clients, properties. Now let's go over nakshatra risings for Virgo. So Uttara Phalguni are ruled by Sun, and Sun in a 12th house here, and participates directly in eclipse. So if you have Uttara Phalguni rising, issues like foreign affairs, spending, private work, rest, and finishing an old chapter are likely to be more important now. And the Sun's strength can help you end a chapter with dignity and confidence. But with Mercury combust and Ketu present, you might not see all the details just yet. You may need to keep a career decision private until the eclipse period is over. Hasta rising, Hasta ruled by Moon, so Moon is being eclipsed in the 6th house, close to Rahu and Fomalhaut. So this means Hasta ascendants are among the most directly affected Virgo risings. You may need to focus right away on work, health habits, debts, competition, relationships with co-workers. And because Moon rules your 11th house, friendships, audiences, professional networks could also be involved. Try not to take on more than your health and schedule can handle. And finally, Chitra rising. Chitra is ruled by Mars. Mars is out of bounds now, so you can be all over the place the whole August. Mars is very powerful in the 10th house, participates in nakshatra exchange with Rahu, so this could bring a major turning point in your career. A crisis, conflict, investigation, new information might change how others see you. So Mars is especially strong, and both are in houses where efforts pays off over time, not right away. So you may do well under pressure, especially in competitive, technical, investigative, or independent jobs. So the main risks here are acting on impulse, getting into conflict, not just at work, with everyone, to be honest, at this point, and hurting your reputation by speaking too sharply. So what Virgo risings should check? The most sensitive degrees are around 10, 11 of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Ashtaka Varga should be checked for the 3rd, 6, 9, and 12 houses. The 1st, 7, 10, and 11 are also important because the Venus-Saturn opposition, Mars-Rahu exchange, and Jupiter-Pluto opposition. Periods connected with Mercury. Basically, all periods are planetary periods important now because they're all very active. All planets are very active now. So for Virgo rising, overall, the eclipse is about work, health, money, relationships, career, and hidden responsibilities. And the best way through is to keep good records, communicate carefully, and be honest about how much you can handle. Libra, I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now, I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with, I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Libra rising. For Libra rising, the first planet to examine is Venus, because it rules first and 8 houses, and it is now debilitated in Virgo in 12th house. So with your chart ruler in the 12th house, first and foremost, you might experience, you might actually be now during these days abroad. You might travel, and this will be an ideal situation to spend money and to reload, to retreat, to recharge the batteries. But also, it can be higher than anticipated expenses. It can be periods of feeling isolated, or you just need more rest. And the difference between how you experience 12th house is all about, the ecosystem of your chart, and specifically Ashtaka Varga, how many Bindu you have, how many Bindu Venus have. So some Libra risings may feel less visible, by the way, now also, and less connected to their usual social circles. So eclipse is happening in the 5th house. Moon getting eclipsed approximately at 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in the 5th house. So Moon is set up here ruled by Rahu. Rahu is within approximately 5 degrees of the Moon. So 5th house is all about creativity, romance, learning, intelligence, taking risks, investments, expressing yourself, children. So it can be a turning point with all of those things. Moon rules 10th house for Libra rising, and it's about career, reputation, authority, public standing, and it draws all this into the 5th house eclipse. So creative project, so they're actually affecting each other here. So creative project can impact a career, or your child situation might change your work plans, or romance that was still young and you didn't want to share about those relationships just yet, now can become public. So some Libra risings may rethink a risky investment or realize a personal project has more career potential than they thought. The moon is with Fomalhaut, is one of the 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is linked to vision, to ideals, to imagination, and wanting to do something meaningful. And in your 5th house, it can spark a lot of creative inspiration, but it might also make you see all the themes of the 5th house, which is romance, children, politics, investments, through rose-colored glasses. Because Moon rules your 10th house, creative or romantic event could affect your reputation. Speaking on the negative manifestations, you might get noticed if your work is based on strong values, that it's on the good side. And again, on the bad side, risky bets or questionable choices could also draw more attention than you expect. Be careful with investments on the stock market right now. Sun, Mercury, Ketu in the 11th house in opposition to eclipsed Moon in 11th house. So here is all about income, career gains, friendships, audiences, groups, big goals. Sun here is strong in its own sign, and it's hemmed by benefics. So it if the Ashtaka Varga is strong in your chart there, then this setup can help you connect with powerful people, take a leadership role, or reach a big goal. But Ketu can also make you feel distant from a group or goal, or from a group that you don't belong anymore, or from a goal that it's not really yours to start with. Maybe it was it was too contagious, and you sort of absorbed it, and now you realize that it's not really so interesting for you anymore. A friendship might end if it no longer feels meaningful as well. 11th house can also bring obstacles. A strong sun here might bring both opportunities and challenges through powerful people, through organizations, through group expectations. Mercury rules your 9th and 12th houses. It's heavily combust now, so things like travel, education, teachers, legal matters, foreign countries, expenses, and private information are all tied into the eclipse. A chance through your work network might mean you need to travel or spend money, or a teacher institution could shape a creative project. Or be sure to review any contracts about publishing, about education, or foreign work closely. 12th house is also this remote work, so it can also connect, be about working through the internet. T-square with Uranus. Uranus disrupting your 8th house nowadays until 2031. And it forms a T-square with Moon, with eclipses, Moon and Sun. So the 8th house is all about shared money, debt, taxes, inheritance, insurance, investments, intimacy, secrets. So Uranus here can bring surprise bills or sudden changes in partners' finances for good or for worse. Can reveal information that changes actually a relationship, again, for good or for worse. The other significators in your chart should show that. Uranus is in Rohini Nakshatra ruled by eclipse moon, so this connects 8th house developments directly with children, with creativity, with career, with reputation. And if there's a natal planet around 10-11 degrees in Scorpio, so then there's a temporarily formed T-square. It's temporarily formed fixed grand cross that this T-square is becoming from. So the strongest activation will be approximately 3 degrees, although placements within 5 degrees can also respond. So for Libra rising, Scorpio is your 2nd house. So if you have, again, any placement there, natal, so it brings your income, savings, family money, speech values, all into the eclipse story. So it will be a grand cross activating 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. And all very much closely tied to money, to investments, to games, to your future security. So possible manifestations here can be, for example, a speculative investment affecting shared finances with your spouse, or expenses involving a child or education can be too much and can take from some investments that you wanted to redirect somewhere else. Can be professional gain followed by taxes or debt obligations. Can be financial tension between a romantic partner and your family. Or a friend becoming involved in some form of financial arrangement. Can be sudden change in a spouse income or a creative project requiring unexpected funding. And again, there's a big chance that private relationship that was hidden before becoming publicly known. Venus. Venus is under pressure. And in this situation involved Saturn position from Pisces and the 4th aspect of Mars. There can be some extra expenses connected with travel, with education, or partner. Within a marriage, there can be a very high financial disagreements. You may need to spend time away from home because of work or legal matters. There can be some reduced confidence caused by financial uncertainty, relationship dissatisfaction during a stressful period, obligations involving children or property, overall difficulty balancing rest with demands from your professional life. Mars and Rahu is nakshatra exchange, and that's what I call now like a big wave of opportunity that, like, if you know how to handle those energies, go for it, and it will save your time and energy and will bring you where you want. But it also can be a dangerous and it can bring you to some sort of fall. So Mars in Ardra and Rahu in Dhanishta, so they are exchanging nakshatras, and so therefore Mars is also directly involved into eclipse, and this is very important Mars rules second and seventh houses for Libra rising. So it's all about money, family, resources, speech, but also marriage, your spouse, also business partnerships, your clients, your contracts. So its position in the ninth house connects all these subjects with law, with some long distance travels, with foreign countries. And you might start a relationship through travel or school, from a business partnership with a foreign market, or see your income affected by legal or publishing matters. Can be even for good. So with Rahu in your fifth house, you may feel more creative, drawn to romance, willing to take financial risks. Rahu leaving your fifth house in November 2026. So that urge for romance, for investments will gradually subside towards the fall and winter. Mars can make you act on these feelings right away. So with this nakshatra exchange, so be careful with like a new sudden romantic relationships. Don't overdo. Now this, because then once they are they will be not in the same in the nakshatra exchange anymore, this urge can significantly fall. Now, this exchange support education, publishing, international business, technical studies, or starting your own business even. But it can also lead to arguments about beliefs, about politics. It can lead to risky bets or disagreements with partners or teachers. So be aware. Now, Saturn and Mars in square to each other. An exact square will be September 1st. So here we have a link between home, children, investments, debt, work, money, marriage, legal matters, education, and travel. So Mars wants immediate action, specifically in the spheres of relationship, in the income, money, or resources themes. And the relationship between Mars and Saturn now can create this pressure, but it can also produce results when a financial or legal plan is carefully discussed and structured, specifically with a partner, because here we have a highly emphasized exactly relationships topic. Since both planets affect Venus, Libra risings may feel torn between, wanting quick results that Mars trying to inspire, and then between this responsibility and desire to delay and wait a little bit that is inspired by Saturn. Now we have an exalted Jupiter in the 10th house, which is exaggerating the themes of work, and it can help you grow at work through teaching, through helping others, through counseling, through writing, media. Jupiter in the 10th house also can make you more visible and bring more responsibility at work. But Jupiter in a tricky situation right now, even though it's exalted and it's in its own sign in Navamsha, it faces opposition from Pluto that is transiting your 4th house. So there a very high possibility of tension between your job and home life. A new job opportunity might mean moving or making changes at home. Property issues could get in the way of work. A boss or institution might try to influence your private life. Jupiter is also squeezed between Mars and Sun, Mercury, and Ketu. So it's a Papakartari situation. So it has a extra pressure from the networks and from some legal matters. Still, Jupiter is strong and it can help your career grow, but you might have to deal with lots of competition, lots of travel, some extra costs, extra expenses, and changes at home along the way. Important to mention that Jupiter is with a 6-8 relationship with eclipsed moon, so they're forming temporarily Sakata yoga, but it will influence the upcoming weeks and months. So this can create such a manifestations like career opportunity that followed by heavier and very like unpleasant, unexpected responsibilities. So speak about your new responsibilities and your new tasks more clearly. Now, professional visibility can be created by a difficult situation or work conflict leading to a better position. Can be gains through teaching, writing, counseling, or foreign contacts, I already mentioned. Change at home can affect professional plans. Change of professional plans will create a change at home. Partners' financial circumstances can influence career choices. Now let's go through the different nakshatra risings for Libra. So Chitra rising is ruled by Mars. Mars is out of balance, acting crazy. It's in the 9th house for you, and it participates in nakshatra exchange with Rahu, the eclipse causing Graha. So money, relationship, travel, education, legal issues, and your personal beliefs may take center stage now. Mars influences Venus and stays in the key relationship with Saturn. So a choice about travel or partner could put pressure on your finances. Try not to let disagreements turn into bigger conflicts, because then it's much harder to reverse. Now, Swati rising, ruled by Rahu. Rahu is one of the principal co-creators of the eclipse and is close to the moon in the 5th house. So Swati ascendants are among the most directly affected Libra risings. You might find that a child, a romance, or a creative project, or investment, or education decision becomes a big focus for you now. There's nakshatra exchange between Mars and Rahu, and this exchange increases your ambition and urgency. Swati ascendants can make a real creative progress now, but it's important to be careful with risky bets and emotional decisions based on sudden emotions. Vishakha rising is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted in 10th house, strong in its own Navamsha, but there is some opposition and squeezing happens. So there's a big opportunity, more visibility, extra responsibility in careers, fear, but there's some challenging aspects to everything. A good career opportunity might mean changes at home with family, kids, debt, or your workload. Vishakha ascendants can succeed by sticking with it even if things feel shaky at first. So overall, what Libra rising should check? The most sensitive degrees are around 10 or 11 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Ashtaka could be checked for the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th house. The 1st, 6th, 10th, and 12th houses also require attention because of Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. So eclipse connects overall creative energy, children, money, shared resources, career, and long-term ambitions. So planned expenses, careful agreements, and restraint with speculation will help manage the eclipse more constructively. Scorpio rising. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. So if you are Scorpio rising, The lunar eclipse or moon, or it's your the planetary period now of the planet in Scorpio now. The lunar eclipse on August 28th happens around 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in your 4th house. The 4th house is all about home, property, mother, emotional security, homeland, education, vehicles, and private life. An eclipse in this area can lead to changes in your living situation, a property decision, or a family issue coming to light. For Scorpio rising, moon rules your 9th house, so it connects things like teachers, father, higher education, low beliefs, long distance travel, and luck with your 4th house matters. A move may be connected with work, education, or foreign country. Apparent circumstances may affect the home. A property or family matter may require legal advice. Some Scorpio ascendants may question whether their current home still supports the direction they want their life to take. Moon, right now eclipsed, is near Fomalhaut, which is one of the 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is all about ideals, vision, spiritual purpose, and wanting to keep your moral integrity. In the 4th house, it can show an idealized view of home, family, or your homeland, your family. I already said. The eclipse might reveal a gap between your hope for what you hope for and what is real. What is the current reality for you? You may need to look at family situation more honestly. Some Scorpio risings could realize that feeling at peace is more important than just keeping up appearances. Since the moon rules your 9th house, a teacher, a belief, legal issue, or experience abroad could change how you see where you belong. Now, in the opposite side from eclipsed moon, we have Sun, Mercury, and Ketu in the 10th house. Mercury is heavily eclipsed. Sun is strong in its own sign, so this can help you gain visibility, authority, leadership, and more control over your career. Sun is hammed by benefics. Sun is directly involved in the eclipse, so with a Ketu here, you might feel some detachment from your job title, employee, or public role. You could get recognition, but still feel that your position no longer has meaning for you. Mercury rules your 8th and 11th houses, and because it's so close to Sun, issues like shared finances, secrets, professional gains, organizations, and sudden changes may show up in your career. Can be, sudden changes in shared finances that directly affect your networks as well. So, like, all these topics can be interconnected. Something hidden could affect your reputation. A professional group you belong to might change its leadership. Your income could depend on a private negotiation, inheritance, investment, or a restructuring process. The eclipse axis between your 4th and 10th houses put home and career in direct tension. You might need to move for work, or a family could limit your career options. Some Scorpio risings may need to rethink what success means, focusing more on a stable home life. Uranus and the T-square. So Uranus for Scorpio rising is going transit, moving over with its transit over the 7th house. So here, and it's going to be there until 2031. So overall, Uranus in 7th house can produce a strong need for independence in your relationships. Your spouse or business partner might also be less willing to accept some old limitations. This transit does not automatically indicate separation. It does require more freedom, more honesty between you and your spouse or your partner, more flexibility within the relationship. Arrangements that depend upon control or predictability may become increasingly difficult to maintain. Uranus in Rohini Nakshatra ruled by Moon, so that brings the Uranus energies directly into the eclipse vortex and into the changes in your relationships or situation in your relationships or situationship. Directly connected to your home, to your family, to your emotional security. And the missing leg here of this T-square falls in the Scorpio itself. If you have any natal placements close to 10 or 11 degrees of Scorpio, then this T-square becomes a fixed grand cross. So, and like this, we have all 4 pillars of life activated by this cross. We have the first house of identity and personal direction. We have the 4th house of home, family, active, 7th house of marriage and partnership, and the 10th house of career and public standing. So they can influence each other very heavily. A decision about relationship could change your home life, and your career opportunity might disrupt a partnership. Wanting more independence may lead to changes in both your family and work life, etc., etc. So Mars is traveling through the 8th house, and it rules the 6th. So it's a temporarily a Viparita Raja Yoga, which brings obstacles, but also it can, through the challenges and obstacles, you can find a better way to deal with the 8th house themes. Whenever Lagna ruler is in 8th house, it's time of a significant personal change. So you might find yourself focusing on research or on shared finances, taxes, debt, insurance, investigations, psychological healing. Some old trauma can come up in order for it to be healed. It can also be a good time to deal with a complex private issue. So Mars is in exchange nakshatra with Rahu. It's an Ardra nakshatra. Ardra means storm. And Rahu in Dhanishta. So here, I see it as a big wave of opportunities, but also this big wave, like when you go surfing, the wave may be too big and it can actually hurt you. So here is important to make a proper assessment of your ability to ride on big waves, and if you feel uncertain or if you feel like insecure about trying to take the big risk, then better to step aside from these things. Otherwise, it can be a great time for getting things done in those areas that I'm going to talk now about faster, with less effort. It can get you where you want it in no time, if again you know how to properly use those energies. Now, property, possible manifestations here. Property matter can be solved involving death, inheritance, or insurance. Some secret becoming known, and it can be used for your benefit. There can be some move or relocation caused by financial or relationship change. There can be the topics of renovation or repair, research conducting from home, private matters. Ardra tends to bring disruption and the need to clear out what no longer works. And Dhanishta brings ambition, resources, status, and group expectations here. So with this energy exchange, you may face very important restructuring of your home and finances, and joint finances if you're in a relationship and you have a joint account, for example. Now, important for a Scorpio rising, Mars is getting into square with Saturn. September 1st, it will be exact square. So Saturn in your chart rules 3rd and 4th houses and placed in 5th. So communication, property questions, all intertwined with the questions of creative projects, with romance, with investments. Mars wants immediate action in the 8th house, and Saturn wants patience. It wants careful planning in the 5th. It wants to delay everything, to double check, triple check, and this can create tension involving children, involving topics around children, involving topics around investments, shared money, again, property, or a creative project. The relationship can be productive for serious research or in long-term financial planning. And it can become difficult when fear, impatience, or the desire for control drives the decision. So I feel like most of the rising signs, lots of people are getting heavily, like their relationship in August is going through major clash and tense and tests. Now, exalted Jupiter, myself included, by the way. Now, exalted Jupiter in Cancer in the 9th house. Jupiter rules the 2nd and 5th houses for Scorpio rising, so it's making it an important planet for money, for family, for education, for children, for creativity, intelligence. Purva Punya, it's overall a good karma from the past life, a lucky energy. By ruling 5th and being in the 9th, it's actually very supportive Dhyana yoga. So it can bring some opportunities of monetary gains. As Jupiter moves through your 9th house, it can support higher education, teaching, publishing, legal matters, spiritual study, or long distance travel. You might also receive help from mentors, from advisors, from some respected institution. However, Jupiter is in a tricky situation now. Even though it's exalted in its own sign in Navamsha, it's opposed by Pluto and Capricorn in the 3rd house, so it can create obstruction through documents, through communication, through siblings, through contracts, through media or local authority. A promising legal, academic, or international development may become complicated by paperwork or a powerful person controlling information. A disagreement over beliefs may become more intense than expected. Jupiter is also positioned between Mars and Gemini and the Sun, Mercury, and Ketu in Leo. So while Jupiter stays strong, its ability to bring smooth results is very much limited. At the same time, it's also creating transit Sakata Yoga, where Jupiter and Moon is in eclipsed Moon in the 6-8 relationship. So here, taking together, the possible manifestations can be a travel or educational opportunity that's requiring a move, or a property matter delaying an international plan, for example. There can be a help from a teacher, advisor after some problem with the family, for example. Can be the question of inheritance affecting education or investment decisions. There can be a legal matter involving home or family. There can be a gain followed by an unexpected expense. There can be a temporary loss of confidence followed by a renewed direction. So Jupiter is strong at offering protection and chance to recover, but this Sakata Yoga and Pluto's opposition suggests that progress may come with complications and setbacks, so be ready for some ups and downs. Venus debilitated in the 11th house, and it rules 7th and 12th for Scorpio rising. So this connects questions of marriage, partnerships, foreign connections, expenses, and private relationships to your income, to your friendships, to professional networks, to long-term goals. So Venus is debilitated. It's under the heavy pressure of Saturn and Mars. So the possible manifestations here can be financial tension with a spouse or business partner. Can be a friendship interfering with a relationship. There can be reduced gains from professional alliances or from your investments. It can be expenses connected with a travel or partner. And that's actually the best and optimum result here, because like this, you just spend money for pleasure. Conflict within a social or professional organization can happen. Private relationship becoming known to friends or colleagues. And disappointment with an unexpected payment or opportunity that is being delayed, or like it can be sent in instead of one piece in few. Now, speaking of nakshatra rising for Scorpio, Vishaka rising and Vishaka ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter here is exalted in 9, so all these questions that I discussed earlier is very much valid for you. So promising opportunity might mean making a big change at home or with family. Vishaka ascendants should plan for extra time to handle paperwork and negotiations. There can be some ups and downs. Anuradha rising ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is in the 5th And it's, by the way, it's aspected from Jupiter. It gives support from benefic Jupiter. So that gives Saturn helpful support. So children, education, investments, creative projects may move forward slowly, but in a positive way. However, Saturn is coming to an exact square with Mars, and there can be some challenges there. Pressure around relationships, money, family may make things more complicated and entangled. It's important to stay patient and make sure everyone knows what's their responsibility. And Jyeshta rising. Jyeshta is ruled by Mercury. Right now, Mercury is very close to the Sun in the 10th house, along with Ketu, and it's very, very much heavily combusted. So, career, reputation, income, organizations, hidden information, and sudden changes become especially important. Jyeshta ascendants should be careful with what they say in public, as well as with contracts, work emails, and private information. A new career opportunity can arise, but the details are not clear yet, so it's important to wait and see, and not to get yourself into the heavy workload with this new career opportunity. Now, the final part is, so the most sensitive degrees are 10 to 11, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Check your natal placements around those. Check Ashtaka Varga for the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th houses. Pay attention for the 5th, 8th, 9th, and 11th, because Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus. So, for Scorpio rising, this lunar eclipse affects home, career, relationships, and sense of self, all 4 pillars of our life. And if your ascendant is near 10 or 11 degrees, this could be a major personal turning point during this eclipse cycle. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Sagittarius rising. For Sagittarius rising, the lunar eclipse is happening on August 28 in the 3rd house. Third house is all about communication, writing, siblings, contracts, media, technical skills, short distance trips, courage, entrepreneurship, working on your own, creating your own. An eclipse here can bring an important news and an agreement, or change how you communicate. The moon rules your 8th house, so this brings some hidden information, topics of shared money, inheritance, debts, taxes, research, secrets, and sudden changes into the 3rd house. So a document might reveal something that was hidden before. A talk with a sibling could be about family, money, or inheritance. Some Sagittarius ascendants may get involved in research, in investigations, in financial paperwork, or a private agreement. Be careful with messages, with contracts, with driving, and any information that comes from unofficial sources. Now, Moon right now is eclipsed, and it's with a star Fomalhaut. It's one of the 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is linked to ideals, to vision, to imagination, and moral purpose. In the 3rd house, it can give extra strength to words, to writing, to teaching, or media. The eclipse may show whether a message or publication really matches the values it claims to stand for. So some information could get more attention than expected. And since the moon rules your 8th house, hidden information might become public through writing, through social media, through documents, conversations. So it's very important to handle confidential material ethically, from ethical point of view. Now, in opposition to moon got eclipsed, there's a sun, Mercury, Ketu in the 9th house. So here, it's all about teachers, it's about father, higher education, religion, law, publishing, long-distance travel, immigration, belief systems. Sun rules the 9th house and is strong on its own, so this can help with education, with teaching, with legal matters, with some international opportunities. But check always the Ashtaka Varga. I'm Sagittarius and I have low Ashtaka Varga in the 9th house, so all these themes are actually quite deemed now for me. It's toned down. Now, Ketu there in the 9th house, it can produce detachment from a teacher, from institution, from father, from authority figure, from some political ideology, from inherited belief. It can give you a space to stand, to step aside and to give a new evaluation to those topics. You know, a person can, Sagittarius may decide to leave an educational path or a spiritual growth that no longer feels right. Now, partner, so Uranus, T-square. Uranus and Taurus now transiting your 6th house, will be transiting there until 2031. So it will bring innovation and disruption into the way you work. So the fixed T-square will be with Moon in 3rd and Sun in 9th with eclipse. So Uranus can bring this unexpected also work development. Now Uranus in Rohini Nakshatra, ruled by Moon, so it brings all this disruptive energy directly to communication, to documents, to travel, to hidden, to eclipse vortex. So legal or immigration matter may affect employment. A publication may provoke a conflict. A work problem may mean you need to travel to get new training. Check your Scorpio placements. If you have any natal placements there around 10 or 11 degrees, then T-square will become a fixed grand cross. And the strongest influence will be within 3 degrees, but sometimes, 5, 6, and also can create some form of manifestations in your life. Scorpio is 12th house, so having planet there can bring in things like foreign countries or sudden expenses or need to isolate yourself for whatever reason, for health or for just, you feel sleep deprived or there's some private matters that needs to be dealt with. Overall things that happening behind the scenes. So this Grand Cross can show up in ways like some legal matter requiring extensive paperwork, or also need to make it again and again in the next few weeks. A hidden work conflict can become public, or unexpected expense connected with education or travel. Some siblings' circumstances can require financial help. Confidential document changing a professional agreement. And overall, 12th house, if it's afflicted, if there's a low Ashtaka Varga points, it can bring exhaustion caused by multiple things such as deadlines or travel or excessive communication. You want to communicate less. Jupiter, your Lagnesh, is transit through the 8th house in Cancer, and it rules your 1st and 4th houses. So it can bring substantial personal, emotional, and residential transformation. All these topics can just be like you need to immediately solve them, and it can be very overwhelming. So shared finances, inheritance, debt, taxes, insurance, property, and family resources may need attention. Jupiter can provide protection during a difficult transition. It may also support, research, or if you're involved into psychology or deep investigation, it can help there too. It can bring healing energies. However, Jupiter is very much in a tricky situation now because it's in a position to Pluto in Capricorn in second house. And this brings this attention to the financial axis between the second and eighth houses. Pluto in the second can create strong pressure around money, family, control, savings, financial security. And it's going to be there for a while. So this is not a new energy. But it still sort of can challenge the overall very benefic influence of Jupiter. You may need to rethink who manages shared resources and if your current financial agreement is still fair. Jupiter is also caught between Mars and Gemini in the 7th house and Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo. So this is like a papakartari or Hemming situation. So there's extra pressure on the 8th house. So Jupiter is, yes, it is exalted, it is strong, but its benefits may come through tough negotiations, through changes in finances, or uncovering some hidden issues. So can be lots of ups and downs. Jupiter as well in Sakata Yoga with eclipsed moon. Moon travels very fast, but in whenever Jupiter in 6-8 relationship during eclipse, the effect can last a bit longer. So the 8th house ruler is being eclipsed moon. Possible manifestations here can include financial gain followed by taxes or debt obligations. There can be some inheritance or insurance matter requiring extensive documentation. There can be some property issue involving shared ownership. There can help arriving after some financial problem. Private family matter affecting personal confidence. Your own image, how you feel yourself in your own body. Research or investigation leading to an important discovery. That's something, if you work in that area, it can be a breakthrough. Now, a partner's financial circumstances can change your plan. And, overall progress will be there, but some temporary reversal will have to be dealt with. So be ready for some ups and downs. Mars and Rahu in Nakshatra exchange. Mars is in Gemini in Ardra Nakshatra ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is in Dhanishta ruled by Mars. So this creates this what I call like a big wave. So here there's chances and opportunities, but at the same time risk. Mars in the 7th house can bring some heated arguments and around children with your spouse, for example. Or there can be some issues involving decision of travel, of investments with a partner. So this exchange connects 7th and 3rd houses. So again, communication is the key. Be careful what you say, how you say. Conflict can be caused by one little impulsive message, and it just grow overboard because Mars now is out of bounds. Partner can make some unexpected travel or financial decision that you are not agree with, and he doesn't care what you think, for example. There can be some romantic relationship that was like growing behind the scenes, and now it's becoming more serious. There can be some expenses connected with a child or spouse. There can be some contract involving foreign clients or creative work, something very promising. Or there can be disagreement with a partner or business partners with the business partner as well, over beliefs, or over, like, let's say you have a publishing agency and you are in the conflict about some publishing project. Now, tricky situation here: Saturn, Mars, and Venus happening. So Saturn in opposition to Venus, Saturn in square with Mars. Venus is in weakened position in the 10th house now, and Venus rules the 6th and 11th. So this means that work, debts, competition, income, friendships are all tied to your career, to your public image. And at the same time, it facing pressure from Saturn and Mars, from very strong and heavy malefics. So it can put a lot of pressure on Venus. So workplace conflict can affect reputation. There can be delayed payment, the partner influencing career decision and pressuring on some decision that you are not agree with. There can be some home responsibilities that interfering with work. There can be some financial tension inside the professional organization. Overall dissatisfaction with an employer or your public role. You want something more, but there's no way to reach the level, the one that you are dreaming of. There can be some career opportunity requiring substantial sacrifice. It needs to be with a cold mind, needs to be evaluated. Is it worth it or not? Let's go over nakshatra rising. So Mula rising, ruled by Ketu. Ketu is one of the planets creating the eclipse, and therefore, you are inevitably involved into this lunar eclipse vortex. This makes it's very important for like all these days and months. Like overall, Mula risings feel eclipses much on a much deeper layer than other risings, Sagittarius risings. So for Mula, there be questions. What can be affected now are beliefs, teachers, education, travel, career, relationships. All can be lightened up with this lunar eclipse. Mula is all about getting to the root of things, and information that comes out during this eclipse may lead you to let go of an old belief or teacher or career path, or rediscover something new in that. Now, the closer this Ketu, Sun, Mercury to no, but they're in the 9th house. Know what I'm saying? I'm getting tired. Purvashadha rising. Purvashadha is ruled by Venus. Venus is very much weakened now, as we already discussed. So career, reputation, income, work relationships, and professional goals may need careful handling. Purvashadha ascendants may feel the need to defend their position. Responding calmly will help more than getting into every conflict. And Uttarashadha rising, ruled by Sun. Sun is strong in its own sign. It's involved in the eclipse. So this can bring leadership, recognition, teaching, publishing, or a big decision about law or education. Strong Sun in your birth chart and good Ashtaka Varga scores will help the eclipse bring positive changes in education, in travel, and in your career path. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now, I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Now let's go to Capricorn rising. For Capricorn rising or moon or planetary period in Capricorn planet, the lunar eclipse on August 28th happens around 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in your second house. The moon is in Shatabhisha nakshatra, ruled by Rahu, and Rahu sits about 5 degrees from the eclipsed moon. The second house relates to income, savings, family resources, speech, food, values, financial security overall. And eclipse in that area might bring changes in income, important family talks, or a need to rethink how money is handled. For Capricorn rising, moon is ruling 7th house. So this means marriage, business partnerships, clients, contracts, and a spouse's resources are all connected to the second house now. So your partner's income might change, or you may need to renegotiate a financial agreement with a business partner. Some Capricorn ascendants could find that they and their partner no longer share the same priorities about saving, spending, or family duties. What you say will matter more than usual during this eclipse. So be careful, because second house is also speech. So be careful with financial and relationship conversations. Moon is with a star Fomalhaut. It's one of the 4 royal stars. It's linked to ideals, vision, imagination, and sense of purpose. It's a sort of moral compass. In the second house, it can create an idealized view of wealth, security, or family situation, family loyalty. This eclipse might show whether your financial arrangements really match your values. You may have to choose between keeping up appearances and facing the real state of your finances. Since the moon rules your 7th house, honesty in marriage and business agreements is especially important now. It may be time to talk openly about any hidden financial expectations, and try to connect this ideal picture with reality, and adjust maybe the vision with reality. Now, on the opposite side of the moon, eclipsed moon, we have Sun, Mercury, and Ketu in 8th house. In Leo, Sun and Mercury are very close together. Ketu is also nearby. So the second house governs personal money, right? It's in the 8th house is more like a shared resource. It's taxes, it's debts, it's inheritance, insurance, investments, and the assets of a partner. Sun rules your 8th house, and it's strong in its own sign. Also, it's hemmed by benefics now. So this can actually help you face tough financial issues. Look into hidden details, or take charge of an inheritance or debt situation. The sun is in Magha nakshatra, connecting the eclipse to ancestry, to inheritance, to family status, to established power. An old issue about family wealth or a past financial agreement might come again. Ketu can bring detachment, separation, or the discovery that an expected source of support is no longer reliable. Mercury rules your 6th and 9th houses, and because it's heavily combust, issues like disputes, work, legal matters, education, travel, advisors, mentors, they all can affect your shared finances. Be sure to review tax documents, contracts, insurance policies, debt arrangements, and legal agreements carefully. Mercury's combustion and Ketu's influence could hide important details. Sorry. Getting to the T-square. Uranus in Taurus, transiting your 5th house. And it's squaring both eclipses. So this creates a T-square involving Moon and Rahu in Aquarius, Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo, and Uranus is an apex. So Fifth house is all about children, creativity, education, romance, investment, speculation. Uranus here can bring surprises involving a child or a creative project or some romantic relationship or investment. So Uranus will leave the fifth house in 2031. So it will be disrupting this area until then. Uranus right now in Rohini Nakshatra, and it's ruled by the eclipsed moon. So this brings Uranus even more to this eclipse vortex. So an investment could suddenly change in value, or romantic or creative issue may also impact your financial security. So all these three areas in life, they can influence each other. Important to check if you have any natal placements in Scorpio around 10 or 11 degrees. The T-square have a potentiality to become a fixed grand cross. And the strongest influence is within approximately 3 degrees, although placements within 5 degrees may also, or 6, respond and create this aspect in your chart. Scorpio is, for Capricorn rising, is 11th house. So a natal placement here that gets involved potentially with a T-square, with a transit T-square, with a solar eclipses, can bring income, gains, bonuses, friendships, audiences, large organizations, long-term ambitions. So the Grand Cross here would activate 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. And the possible manifestations can be an investment that will affect family savings, a professional gain followed by taxes or debt obligations, can be expenses connected with a child, something unexpected, or the friend can become involved in financial agreement, or like, let's say, invest in your project, for example. Spouse resources changing unexpectedly, creative project requiring additional funding, inheritance changing future plans. Now, if you are Capricorn rising, in this situation, try to avoid making financial decisions around eclipse, and when you feel pressured or excited also, or when you don't have all the facts. And now during eclipse, some information naturally can be hidden. And if you decide to go for something, there some facts can come to surface within the next few weeks or months. Saturn is your Lagnesh, so the condition is important to understand overall the background right now. So Saturn rules the 1st, 2nd, and it's in the Pisces now, in the 3rd house. So that's mean communication, paperwork, siblings, contracts, technical skills, and your own efforts are now key to both your identity and financial security. Saturn in the 3rd house is actually a great time to start a blog or start some research project, actually creating like a publication, or worked on finalizing research and prepared for like a publishing. 3rd house is also entrepreneurship. So you can benefit from carefully implementing the Saturnian energy into the 3rd house themes. Patiently building a skill, day-by-day effort, business planning. Saturn rules your 2nd house, and so your income may rely on steady effort, obviously. Now, progress might be slow, but it can become more stable over time. Now, debilitated Venus is in the 9th house, and it rules 5th and 10th, so it's a yoga karaka for you, for Capricorn risings or moon. So Venus is all about here children, creativity, education, investments, career, reputation, and professional authority. So naturally for Capricorn, it would be a case that career can evolve from some hobby or from some creative project. Now, Venus being debilitated in the 9th house can link, creativity, children, and career into the 9th house themes, which is law, which is teachers, publishing, higher education, long distance travel, and foreign countries. So one of those can be a little bit deemed now. For example, if you wanted to create some long distance travel plan, the current situation, for example, can become a little bit less promising. Or if you were working towards publishing a project, then there can be some setbacks, because Venus now not only debilitated, it's also opposed by Saturn and Pisces and receives fourth aspect from Mars and Gemini. So here, this configuration can produce delayed professional gains, financial pressure connected with education or travel. There can be investment requiring additional resources. There can be career difficulties caused by legal or administrative matters. There can be extra expensive involving a child. Can be conflict with a teacher or advisor or professional authority. There can be some job opportunity, great one, but it requires relocation. It's another city or country. And overall, it can be a need to change a long-term professional plan. And here, important to notice that this is not going to last forever. Once Venus leaves the debilitation and Saturn and Mars stop heavily afflicting it, all this can actually resolve on its own all the issues. So there is definitely a silver lining. So just there's a period to wait and see and double check everything. Just, it's gonna pass. Now Mars is in the 6th house, transiting Gemini, and it rules 4th and 11th for Capricorn rising. So here, 4th is all about home. Fourth house is all about home property, can be something related to mother, to education, to overall for your emotional well-being, your emotional happiness, feeling grounded. And 11th house is all about income, friends, organizations. And, if it can affect each other, because Mars rules the same house, these two houses. So for example, if you are not happy internally, it can influence your bonuses, your income, how you participate in large-scale organizations, what's your long-term plans. And Mars being now in the 6th house, it brings you actually energy to compete. It can bring some conflicting energies, can be heavy workloads, debts, or there's can be a lot of practical problems to solve. But here, Mars also help to beat the competition and take strong action at work. Mars now is out of bounds. Yes, it can be extreme, and here it's very blurry line where it's actually competition and strong action, and where it's like a over reaction. So Mars also sends the 8th aspect to Capricorn and directly affecting your ascendant, whereas also Pluto now. Pluto will be out of bounds for the rest of the year, and it's going through your 1st house. So your image, your body can also get a bit affected by it. You can be more determined, but also more impatient. Try to avoid overworking yourself or getting into unnecessary arguments. Mars is in nakshatra exchange with Rahu, and so remember, Mars is out of bounds. Rahu is creator of the eclipse, and they are creating this like a big wave of opportunity or fall. It makes both of them very strong. Rahu is in the 2nd house, remember, right? And Mars is in the 6th. So this exchange links 2nd and 6th houses. So money, family, speech, debts, work, conflict, daily tasks are all connected now. Possible manifestations: a workplace dispute affecting income, a financial obligation requiring additional work, sharp words creating family conflict. Be aware of sharp words. Try to avoid. Sometimes it's impossible. Gains through technical, medical, investigative, or competitive work. Debt reduction through disciplined effort. A friend or organization can become involved in the work problem. It can be also manifestation, because Mars is all about real estate and home and property, and it's ruler of your 4th house. So that's mean, if I'm counting correctly, so that's mean property expense affecting savings. So Saturn and Mars. Saturn is your Lagnesh, and right now it's getting into exact square with Mars. September 1st will be exact square, so be aware. Just it's gonna get worse until it's gonna get better, because Saturn is all about patience, delays, steady progress, and Mars is out of bounds. It pushes for quick action. It's all about confrontation, and together they can create this push-pull reaction. It can create physical and mental stress. It can lead to hard work. It can bring some like earth-shaking situations in work, for example, in daily life, in daily routine. So both Saturn and Mars are influencing Venus now. So you might feel rushed to make a professional or financial decision, but it's important to plan carefully, or actually just delay, wait a couple of weeks, and then you decide on that. So exalted Jupiter is in your 7th house now. And it's strong, and it's on Navamsha, it's exalted, but there is difficulties with this Jupiter right now. Overall, it can bless you with some advisor or client, great client in your life, right? It can be some negotiator or a new wise partner. Because it's in Jupiter rules in your chart 3rd and 12th houses, relationships or clients might also work with clients or with partners. It can involve travel, it can involve education, communication, connections with other countries. But here Jupiter is opposed by Pluto, and there is a very heavy obstruction. There can be a strong tension between your need for control and what your partner expects, for example. Jupiter is hemmed between Mars and Gemini in Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo. So it's a sort of papokartere, a hemming situation. So the ability to provide easy flowing relationships or easy flowing relationship solutions is restricted. A partner may offer help, but while also introducing expensing, creating problems, demanding substantial changes. Jupiter also in 6-8 relationship with eclipsed moon, creating temporarily Sakata yoga. So without going into the details, possible manifestations can include partner's income changing, a contract bringing both gains and expenses, can be help from advisor, but at the time of financial complication, can be foreign country opportunity, like a job related, but it requires considerable investment, considerable spending. A business partnership undergoing renegotiation, progress in relationship followed by temporary uncertainty, a client agreement involving hidden conditions. And let's go through different nakshatras risings. Uttarashadha rising nakshatra is ruled by Sun, so the Sun is therefore participant of eclipse, so Uttarashadha risings can be affected strongly by this eclipse. So Sun is in 8th house, it's strong. And so this makes shared finances, inheritance, taxes, research, major personal changes especially important now. They come to the surface. Can be some old childhood trauma facing up as well. Anything related to psychology or desire to learn astrology, for example, it's also 8th house theme. And the Sun's strength helps you face tough issues, but Mercury combust, Ketu present there, you might not have all the information you need yet. Shravana rising is ruled by the moon, and moon is being eclipsed in the 2nd house close to Rahu and star Fomalhaut. So if you have Shravana rising, you are among the most directly affected Capricorn groups. So money, family, speech, marriage, and contracts may all need your immediate attention. Shravana is linked to listening and sharing information, so by listening carefully you might pick up on things that aren't being said directly in emotional conversations. Now, the third nakshatra rising in Capricorn is Dhanishta, and it's ruled by Mars. Mars is out of bounds now. It's in the 6th house. It participates in nakshatra exchange with crazy Rahu, amplifier, and so this means works, income, debts, competition, property. Your long-term goals are especially important now. Mars can help the Dhanishta ascendants take decisive action and overcome obstacles. There's this big wave of opportunity to to be able to deal with stuff, but there's also high risk of falling and making mistakes. So be aware. So again, what Capricorn rising should check. Pay special attention if you have planets or points near 10, 11 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Check your Ashtaka Varga for 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. Also look at the 1st, 3rd, 6th, 7th, 9th, and 10th houses, since Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus are involved in the situation there. Overall, for Capricorn rising, the eclipse mainly affects finances and partnerships. You may need to rethink your savings, shared resources, investments, professional gains, and your partner's money. Next, we have I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now, I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro-psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. Aquarius rising. If you are Aquarius rising or moon in Aquarius, or your planetary period in Aquarius, so then the lunar eclipse on August 28th happens around 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in your 1st house. The moon will be in Shatabhisha nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu, and Rahu sits above 5 degrees from the eclipse moon, so it's pretty close. The eclipse feels personal for Aquarius. The 1st house relates to your identity, to your health, appearance, personal direction, and how you approach life. For Aquarius rising, the moon rules your 6th house, and this means work, health routines, debts, competition, disputes, service, and daily responsibilities are all brought into focus in your 1st house. So work issues might start to impact your well-being. Some Aquarius ascendants could realize their current schedule, job or daily routine isn't working anymore. They want to change. So others may feel more motivated to tackle a debt, dispute, or ongoing practical problem. If you're ascendant around 10 degrees of Aquarius, you will feel this eclipse effect most strongly. Eclipsed moon is with one of the 4 royal stars, Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is linked to ideals, vision, imagination, and moral purpose. When it's in your 1st house, you may feel a strong urge to live by your own principles or a bigger vision. You have actually now a very clear understanding of what that perfect future can be for you. The eclipse might show you where your identity is tied to an ideal that no longer fits your reality as well. Some Aquarius ascendants may change their appearance, public image, priorities, or how they relate to the world. Since the moon rules the 6th house, you might also rethink if you're giving too much in service to others, or if work conflicts are draining your emotional energy. Now, in the position of eclipsed moon, we have Sun, Mercury, and Ketu in the 7th house. Mercury is pretty much combusted, Sun in Magha, and very close to star Megrez. 7th house is all about marriage, but also business partnerships, clients, contracts, open rivals. The Sun rules this house and it's strong in its own sign, so this can put a powerful or noticeable partner in a spotlight. A spouse, business partner, client, or advisor might take a firm stand. However, since the Sun is part of the eclipse axis and Ketu is involved, there could be feelings of detachment or dissatisfaction in an existing agreement. The 1st and 7th houses highlight the balance between your own identity and your partnerships. Aquarius ascendants might feel they need more freedom, or that a partner's expectations are holding them back. Mercury rules your 5th and 8th houses, and it's heavily combust. So topics like children, romantic relationships, education, creativity, shared finances, inheritance, and secrets may come up in your relationship. Talking about children or money could change a partnership, or it can bring some unresolved issues that were holding beneath the surface. Business deal might have hidden financial terms, so be aware. A romantic relationship could get more serious or reveal issues that weren't obvious before. Now, getting to the T-square that forms Uranus to the eclipse. This created T-square involving Moon, Rahu in Aquarius, Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo, and Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus can bring an unexpected move, a property issue, a change within the family, or a strong need for greater freedom at home. Uranus will be creating this in your 4th house area until 2031. So it will be disrupting, demanding changes, demanding more freedom, all that. But now Uranus in Rohini Nakshatra, which is ruled by this eclipsed moon. So this even more bring Uranus disruptive energy into the vortex of the eclipse, and more directly link changes at home directly to your identity, to your work, to your health routines, to your relationships. So like if there are changes at home, it directs your business partnerships and relationships. If there's a relationship issue, it will affect yourself right away, your identity, and your also emotional calmness, emotional foundation. Partner choice might mean you have to move, or work issues could disrupt your home life. Wanting more independence may challenge your current family setup. If you have natal placements at 10 or 11 degree of Scorpio, the T-square can turn into a fixed grand cross. So check your natal placements there. So this grand cross could potentially activate all 4 angular houses, the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. And therefore, the 4 main pillars of your life can be disrupted. A partner's situation might influence your work choices. Changes in how you see yourself may lead you to adjust several parts of your life. Saturn rules Aquarius, and it's ruling also 12th house, and right now it's in the 2nd. So that puts the focus on money, savings, family resources, speech, food, and values. Saturn may require you to budget more strictly, plan your finances carefully, or have serious talks about family responsibilities. As a ruler of the 12th house, Saturn also brings the themes of extra expenses, or relocation to another country, or private obligations, or a need to let go of an old source of security. Saturn casts its 7th aspect on debilitated Venus in Virgo now. It also remains in a square relationship with Mars and Gemini. So your chart ruler is involved in the pressures affecting your home, travel, career, children, and shared finances. Jupiter's 9th aspect fall on Saturn, which offers important support. This can help Aquarius ascendant create a realistic financial plan or find practical advice during a challenging time. Speaking of Venus, it's getting debilitated in 8th house, and it rules your 4th and 9th. It's Yoga Karaka for Aquarius. It's a source of strength always. It stands for home, for property, connection with a mother, with education, teachers, low fortune, long distance travel, higher knowledge. In the 8th house, these areas are linked to shared finances, to debt, to inheritance, insurance, secrets, and sudden changes. So possible manifestations here can include a property matter involving shared ownership or debt, expenses related to travel or education, family issue affecting a partnership, or issue with partnership affecting family, delays involving inheritance, insurance, or legal paperwork, a sudden change in teacher or educational path, or a worldview overall, how your belief system. There can be financial pressure connected with kids, or some unexpected expenses, a need to restructure household expenses, emotional distance caused by financial stress. Mars Rahu in Nakshatra exchange, creating this wave of either possibility and the chance to move very fast, very far, or a risk to fall. So here we need to be very careful in evaluating the chances. So Rahu is causing the eclipse in your 1st house, and Mars directly tied to this eclipse effect. So Mars rules your 3rd and 10th houses. It stands for communication, writing, siblings, media, technical skills, courage, career, reputation, and public authority. With Mars in your 5th houses, topics are linked to children, to education, to creativity, romantic relationships, also investments. Nakshatra exchange connecting those themes, and this can support a new creative or media project. It can create a possibility of career growth through the teaching, writing, mentoring, or even technical skill. There can be greater public attention for personal work. There can be very strong decision involving a child's education. There can be some romantic relationship development happening, changing your personal direction. They can make you also more impulsive, Mars and Rahu. It can lead to arguments. It can increase financial risk. So be cautious with speculations. Now, Mars and Saturn is in square. September 1st. Now, exalted. Did I say about Mars and Saturn, or I said it to Capricorn? So I'm gonna repeat. I don't remember if I said it already or I just said it to Aquarius. So Mars and Gemini and Saturn and Pisces are in square relationship, right? So Mars wants quick creative or professional action, and Saturn demands financial restraint, patience, and responsibility. There can be a clash. There can be push and pull energy. This can create tension between spending on a project and saving money. Or a child's needs might compete with other financial responsibilities, or achieving a professional goal may take a long time to prepare. So the exact square is September 1st. After September 1st, this tension might slowly go away. Exalted Jupiter in 6th house. And it's strong in its own Navamsha. So for Aquarius, rising Jupiter rules money houses, 2nd and 11th. So the condition of Jupiter is very important for Aquarius. So recently it was combusted for a few weeks heavily by sun. It was invisible in the sky, and a lot of people had lowered optimism regarding those themes in lives that Jupiter rules in their charts. And for Aquarius, it was money topics. It governs, Jupiter governs your income, savings, family resources, professional gains, networks, friends, large organizations, connections there, long-term goals. So all the yummy stuff. And in the 6th house, you might grow through service, through work, through health fields, through education, counseling, solving problems. It can also increase your workload, your debts, your obligations, your conflicts. Jupiter in a tricky situation. It's squeezed from one side, Mars in Gemini, and another side, Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo, creating this papa cardinal or hemming situation, creating pressure on your 6th house. And at the same time, there's opposition from Pluto from Capricorn in the 12th house. So hidden expenses, private opposition, some hidden enemies, even institutional pressure or behind the scene issues could get in the way of your progress right now. Jupiter remains strong, exalted, powerful, yes, but its results may still be substantial with strings attached. But it can the results can arrive through work, conflict, or need to solve a difficult problem nonetheless. Now, Jupiter is in 6-8 relationship with the eclipsed moon, forming temporarily Sakata Yoga. Without going into details, possible manifestations include professional gain followed by heavier responsibilities. Income increasing while expenses or debts also rise. Can be work conflict affecting your emotional well-being. Help arriving after an employment problem, a friendship becoming entangled with work or money, a health routine requiring greater discipline, a successful outcome following a temporary reversal, an organization offering support after a difficult negotiation. So Jupiter's exalted position helps with recovery, but the pressure from malefics, the Pluto's opposition, Sakata Yoga, all mean results may still be uneven. There will be like a bit of a roller coaster. Jupiter sends the 9th aspect to Saturn, your Lagnesh, which strengthens your chart ruler in the transit, and it can give practical judgment. It also sends the 5th aspect to Scorpio, and if you have a natal planet there that completes that grand cross, Jupiter may help bringing a solution, though it could also make the event bigger. Let's get into the nakshatra rising. So Dhanishta rising is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in the 5th house and participates in nakshatra exchange with Rahu. It's also out of bounds, so for Dhanishta ascendants, the most important topics will be creativity, children, education, romantic relationships, career, and your personal direction all can become closely linked and entangled. Financial and family consequences should be considered before taking a major creative or professional risk. Shatabhisha nakshatra rising, it's ruled by Rahu, so therefore it's directly involved into the eclipse. These are probably the most directly affected Aquarius group, especially if your ascendant is near 10 degrees. So identity, well-being, appearance, relationships, work, personal direction may all shift. Rahu can boost ambition and urgency, but it might also make passing emotions seem more permanent than they really are. Eclipse period can reveal complete situation before making an irreversible decision. Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra rising, they are ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter, we talked a lot about it, that it's in a tricky situation, difficult work or financial situation may eventually produce a stronger position, but it's not going to happen easily. Purva Bhadrapada ascendants should avoid overcommitting simply because an opportunity appears promising. So the most sensitive degrees are around 10, 11 in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Check Ashtaka Varga in your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th houses. Also pay attention to the 2nd, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 12th houses because of Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Pluto there working their magic. Now for Aquarius rising, this eclipse directly affects your identity and relationships. If your ascendant is near 10 degrees, changes in your home, career, partnership, or health routines could be part of a bigger personal shift. And last but not least, Pisces rising. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home, property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades. If you are Pisces rising, moon rising, or your planetary ruler in Pisces, so then the lunar eclipse on August 28 happens around 10 degrees of sidereal Aquarius in your 12th house. The moon sits in Shatabhisha, ruled by Rahu, and Rahu close to the eclipsed moon. So the 12th house relates to foreign places, spending, retreat, isolation, sleep, spiritual practices, private relationships, everything behind closed doors, hospitals, institutions, finishing old cycles. So for Pisces rising, the moon rules the 5th house. This can bring themes like children, creativity, romance, education, investments, intelligence, and past good deeds into focus in the 12th house. Like some Pisces can travel for a child or with a child for his to fix something for his business, for his how to say it, chores, of course. It can be involved some educational retreat or creative project. Some can spend money on school, art, or investments. Some romantic relationships may stay private or involve distance, so long-distance relationships are highly likely. Moon is with a star Fomalhaut. It's one of the 4 royal stars. Fomalhaut is linked to ideals, visions, imagination, spiritual purpose, and moral integrity. When it is in the 12th house, you might notice stronger dreams, some intuition working like crazy now, private creative work, or a desire for a spiritual retreat. Don't ignore all these urges. It can lead to some very important realizations. With Rahu close to the moon, it can be hard to tell the difference between intuition and anxiety, though. So hidden hopes or fears may feel stronger during the eclipse. So you can also work through this very multi-layered psychological material of yours. So because the moon rules the 5th house, Pisces ascendants should be careful with secret romantic situation and speculative financial decisions. Inspiration can be very powerful now, but practical verification still should be done. So on the other side of the chart, we have Sun, Mercury, Ketu in the 6th house in Leo in Magha with star Migres. So this axis highlight the balance between work and rest, between service and retreat, between daily routines and becoming exhausted, between practical duties versus private needs. So the Sun rules 6th house, and it's strong and it's on sign. This can help Pisces ascendants to confront debts, competition, workplace problems, and demanding routines. It may provide the authority to resolve a conflict. However, there's also Ketu there, so Ketu may make you feel detached from job, routine, or conflict that used to take up a lot of your energy. Ketu leaving the 6th house in November 2026, moving into the 5th one. Now, Mercury rules your 4th and 7th, and it's heavily combusted. So issues related to home, property, mother, marriage, business partnerships, clients, and contracts may show up in your work or daily routines. A partner may face a work or health-related problem. A disagreement may affect the home. Some Pisces ascendants may need to manage property documents or employment contracts or legal responsibilities. Mercury's combustion can create missing information or misunderstandings. Important paperwork should be checked very, very carefully. T-square. So the eclipse forming a T-square with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is in your 3rd house now, so it covers communication, writing, media, contract, siblings, short distance trips, technical skills and independent work, entrepreneurship, courage, efforts. Uranus in your third house until 2031, so it will be bringing surprises in that area, some sudden news, some unexpected short distance trips, some issues with siblings, or it can be also big changes in how you communicate in general. Right now, Uranus in Rohini Nakshatra, which is ruled by the eclipsed moon. So this links this third house events to spending, to foreign affairs, to children, to romance, private creative projects. You might get a message that uncovers a hidden issue. A sibling could need your help. A publishing or media project might involve travel or surprise costs. If there's a natal planet or angle, if there's a natal planet in Scorpio at 10 or 11 degrees, this transit T-square can become potentially a fixed brand cross with your natal placement. So the strongest activation is within approximately 3 degrees, although placements within 5, 6, 7 also may respond. So Scorpio is a 9th house for Pisces. A natal placement there brings questions of law, immigration, higher education, teachers, publishings, beliefs, and long-distance travel into the eclipse configuration. So the Grand Cross would activate 3rd, 6th, 9, and 12 houses, and possible manifestation can include a legal or immigration issue requiring extensive paperwork, a work problem interfering with travel or education. It can be a hidden matter becoming relevant to a contract. Can be some sibling circumstances affecting foreign plans. Unexpected expenses connected with study or travel. A publishing project creating professional conflict. Can be exhaustion caused by work, travel, or deadlines. Now, exalted Jupiter in the 5th house. Couple words about that. It rules Pisces itself, the 1st house, and 10th house. So the condition of Jupiter is important for Pisces. Jupiter can help with learning, with education, with the children, teaching, creativity, spiritual growth, and your career goals. Jupiter connects your personal identity and career with the 5th house matters. So, you know, the teaching, counseling, creative opportunity, all very important professionally now. However, Jupiter in a tricky situation, it hammed between malefic influences, Mars in Gemini in 4th house and Sun, Mercury, Ketu in Leo in 6th. And it's in opposition with Pluto. The hamming can put the pressure on Jupiter. It can create some extensive work demands, conflicts, or family issues that are limiting the energies of creation and growth of Jupiter. Now, Pluto in Capricorn in 11th house, creating a tension between your creativity and group expectations, between children and career gains, between your own vision and what a larger organization wants that you're part of. Professional network may attempt to control a project. An investment or child-related matter may affect long-term financial plans. A powerful friend or organization may place conditions upon an opportunity. Jupiter stays exalted and strong in the Vamsha, so it can still guide and protect you, but you may need to be persistent to see results, because it can be some ups and downs, like some sort of roller coaster. Important also here that Jupiter is making 6-8 relationship with eclipsed moon, creating temporarily Sakata yoga. Without going into the details, possible manifestations are creative opportunity requiring considerable private work, professional gain followed by huge expenses, costs, increased costs that connected with a child or education, can be romantic situation becoming complicated by secrecy or distance, can be an investment changing direction, a foreign opportunity affecting career plans, help arriving after a temporary setback, a period of withdrawal leading to clear professional purpose. So all this, and Jupiter also casts the 9 aspect into Saturn, and Saturn transiting your 1st house now. So it brings some protective influence to what Saturn is doing to your 1st house. Saturn can make you feel for a while now, since the past spring 2025, more serious, more pressured, more tired even. And exalted Jupiter now offers more guidance, and more like a deeper sense of purpose and overall meaning in your life. So yes, Saturn in the first house, very serious transit. Some restructuring can be done in your identity, and it's in a position with Venus in the 7th house, and it's in a square to Mars and Gemini in 4th. So here, relationships, home, finances, travel, communication, career goals may all this area may feel very demanding at once. A couple of words about debilitated Venus in the 7th house. It's debilitated. It's under pressure of malefics. So Venus here in your chart rules the 3rd and 8th houses. So overall possible manifestations can include financial tension within a relationship, can be a contract requiring revision, can be conflict involving shared resources, emotional distance caused by work or family pressure with a partner, can be for partner facing an unexpected expense. Some confidential information can affect the trust between you. Business partnership can become more demanding. And overall can be lots of disagreements over travel, over property, over family responsibilities. But the good news that Venus is faster moving planet than Saturn, for example, so soon it's going to be all over once Venus goes into Leo. Mars and Rahu in a Nakshatra exchange, and I compare it to the big wave of opportunity or risk to fall. So they are making each other stronger, although they already strong in their position. Rahu is in this Nakshatra exchange involving Mars directly into the eclipse vortex. So Mars for Pisces rising rules 2nd and 9th houses. So it represents money, family resources, speech, teachers, law, beliefs, higher education, long distance travel. So Mars in your 4th house ties these themes to home, to property, to probably a relationship with a mother, to education, to your overall the feeling of emotional security. Possible manifestation of this can be traveling or relocating because of family circumstances. Can be a property matter creating some unexpected expenses. Can be financial support for a family member needed. Can be legal or educational matter affecting the household. Some private projects start to be connecting less public, and it can be more about teaching and publishing. So here overall it's all around the home and relationships, and it's all like all these pressures can affect your well-being, but at the same time there are some opportunities with a foreign journey, with the foreign investments, with the publishing and teaching. Now, Nakshatra rising Purva Bhadrapada for Pisces are ruled by Jupiter, and so Jupiter is exalted, it's strong in its own sign. There's a strings attached. I already talked about this. So, there's a good opportunity somewhere, but it needs some sacrifice. It needs some extra work. It needs some extra spending. Uttar Bhadrapada rising ruled by Saturn. Saturn transiting the 1st house now and receives the 9th aspect of Jupiter and afflicting Venus. So for Uttar Bhadrapada, the period is especially serious, but it also can be productive. If you like to work more, if you like responsibility, if you like like Saturn, you might have, the more responsibilities, but Jupiter also offers now guidance for you and clear sense of purpose. Gravity rising ruled by Mercury. Mercury is heavily afflicted, combusted in the 6th house. So Mercury rules the 4th and 7th houses. So the topics of the 4th and 7th houses can be a bit deemed now and doomed. So check your documents, instructions, travel plans, also work agreements carefully. Misunderstandings could lead to extra work or cost. So again, what Pisces should check? The most sensitive degrees are around 10, 11 of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Check Ashtaka Varga for your 3rd, 6th, 9, and 12 houses. Also pay attention to the 1st, 4th, 5th, 7th, 10th, and 11th, because of all the planets working their magic there. So this eclipse for Pisces is about balancing work and rest. It's about public duties and private life. It's about creativity and financial reality. The exalted Jupiter can give you strength, but you may need to step back, prepare, or let go of an old commitment to move forward. And important to remember, for Pisces rising, the Jupiter will be in Gandanta in the fall, together with Mars and Ketu. So that's going to be affecting you probably strongly. So stay tuned for my podcast about that transit. I want to remind you that I'm accepting the requests for private consultations. It can be a yearly horoscope. It can be the dive deep into one theme in your life, such as partnerships, children, relocation, home property, career. Now I have a few publications on my Amazon page. The most recent will be Eclipse 2027 edition with I think it's 300 pages of all information about the upcoming year, the upcoming eclipses. And if you want to support my work, there's a lot of interesting material I published on Substack. There's articles that are specifically for members, and there's free articles to read. And those who are becoming members, they have access to webinar 3 Keys to Unlock Full Potential. There's monthly peaks and lows, that webinar, how to count, and there's a astro psychological dive deep into the archetypes of Orion and Pleiades.